calls today at 713-780-3776. Lets you comment directly on anything we're talking about or bring up new topics onto the show. Want to be as interactive as possible today. So make sure you hit us on Twitter and the phone line if you hear something that gets you going, 713-780-3776. So the Astros, they're trying to keep their head above water. They were 7.5 down going into last night and down 3-0 early in the game. Justin Verlander was spinning pitch after pitch after pitch. He only ended up going 5 innings, hitting over 100 pitches during that time frame. Gave up 3 runs, but after some early problems, he did settle in. But the Astros had work to do to chip away. Yordan Alvarez had a 2-run homer, which helped. Pretty much Jeff Blum kind of called it on the air, which sure would be nice if Yordan could launch this one. And that's what he did to right field, towering home run to right field to make it 3-2. It was then 4-3 or 4-2 rather. It's 4-3 when Alex Bregman stepped up to the plate. And here is what it sounded like when Alex Bregman tied the game up.
Alex sends one deep. We are tied up. Home run number 5 in his last 7 games. Breggy stays hot with a long ball.
Breggy's been on a heater. 174th career home run, tying George Springer for 6th amongst Astros all time. And that was a big one, tying things up at 4 apiece.
11-30 is what he's been. Speaking of the heater, he's been 11-30 with 5 home runs. And that was a big one yesterday to tie the game up. Is Bregman seeing the ball well, hitting, with power. But the Astros weren't done. The bats came back up in the form of someone who really needs to get going, and that was Yainer Diaz. The game tied at 4-4. Yainer stepped up, and this is the business that he took care of.
Yainer could use a big hit here. Trying to snap it over 8, and he drills one.
That's right,
deep
Todd
to left
Callis.
field, and the Astros have their first lead of the night. Yainer Diaz hits his first home run since April 11th, and it couldn't come at a better time.
The bartender. Give me a Yainer bomb. That was a slider that came right back into the wheelhouse of Yainer Diaz, and you called it, TK.
So that made it 6-4. The Astros added one more. Bullpen did their job. They win 7-4. And Del, the team that you're so afraid of being stuck for the rest of the year, got a big, huge win over a really, really good Cardinals team at 28-30. Down 3-0. I thought, what is
this the spin
is this really going to be?
That I'm the one who's afraid of them being stuck?
Well, somebody's got to be
That's the spin? I got to be the bad guy?
Somebody's got to be the bad
giant win. You and Chandler Rome think it's the biggest win of the year. I think he tweeted that, something like that as well. Biggest win of the year for the Astros.
I just think they haven't drowned yet.
Are they Jack and the rest of the MLB is Rose and they're going to push them into the water and he's going to drown? Are they going to drown?
I don't know if it's a Titanic thing, but possibly. Possibly. I don't know. I just know I'll take a win. This is game by game. See, here's the thing, guys. We just play it one game at a time here with Astros baseball. We don't get into the fear of losing this series or that series. If we lose the series, fine. It's early. It's only June now. So it was early in April. It was early in May. Now it's just early June. That's all. There's still plenty of time. They can't win 8 in a row and have Seattle lose 8 in a row and overtake Seattle?
It's mathematically possible that could happen. We've played this game throughout the year. Mm-hmm. We're going to keep playing this game.
That's the thing is this game is – at some point you have to stop playing this game about showing how the math isn't that hard if you just – if Seattle goes on a big losing streak. The whole reason that the math is supposed to work in your favor is because you're supposed to beat Seattle in the head-to-heads,
which you
and you
have
didn't,
not done.
And that's why you're 7.5 back. But I like that Bregman's hitting for power now. It's all of a sudden it's come back in the last 7 games. Bregman's gotten back on it after falling off, and then you had Yordan. Actually, 3 players who you really need, Jordan, Yiner, and Alex Bregman all homered yesterday. And those are three guys who need to step up and play, and hit more consistently. I mean, they're three huge players for you last year, and all three of them bombed out. Jordan has been hitting better of late. Bregman's been hitting better. And then, as you heard Todd Callis say, Yiner Diaz snapped out of an 0-for-8 streak. He's not played his best baseball this year. The power numbers have been way down relative to last year when he had, 28 home runs? So was it 24 or 28 home runs? He had, I want to say like 28, but it might have been 24. But regardless, he had a much-needed home run yesterday. The bad news, however, was that Kyle Tucker was injured. And I want you to listen carefully. Sam will play the Kyle Tucker soundbite here. You can hear the sound of the thud.
Have we given her?
Yeah, she's a beast. She's good.
Is it the dirty version, where we can hear him screaming?
Dirty version?
Is there a version where he?
Oh,
he
you can hear
curses?
bad words?
I don't know. I thought there was a version where we hear him.
Oh, I'm sure there's not.
Sam has heard it, so she knows whether or not.
Sam, what do you think? Should we play it? Should we hear the bone crack?
No, there isn't Kyle Tucker screaming, but with the F word.
Yeah, you can slightly hear it.
This
I
is
should
what-
have probably.
See,
Not if I talk over it.
see. Why do I have to be the one who keeps us on the rails? Why didn't you tell her that you might want to have to bleep
Because
that first?
you know what you do? Have you ever heard of this phrase, Del? Ask for forgiveness, not permission.
No, but what's
you ever heard of that?
But we haven't taught her about the dump button, so that's an issue.
Do you know where the dump
I know
button
the
is?
dumb
Okay,
button.
you know to hit it if that this is a problem. So you want to play this and have her hit the dump button, or
I'll
do
just
we,
go like this.
or do we play it after the
Watch.
break?
Play it and then watch how it works.
No,
We don't play it after the break. We take chances on the
No,
show.
we don't.
Listen to this. I'll just speak over it. Go ahead.
That's living dangerously to Tucker.
Blah, 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 blah.
Feel good.
See?
That ruins the whole
Tucker goes
the
down.
bone.
Play
We don't
to
even hear
Tucker.
that.
We want to listen to
Front foot or
Todd.
front shin.
That ruins
See?
the entirety of the clip when
Okay.
you're blah, blah, over the sound of the ball hitting his leg.
Okay, do it again.
That's living dangerously to Tucker and Alvarez. That does not feel good.
You would have been too late.
See?
Tucker
He would have
goes
been too
down
late.
home
No,
plate.
I was
Fouls
fine.
that one
It's
off the
fine.
front
It's
foot
fine.
or
Whatever, it's
Everything's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. Kyle Tucker shin contusion. Thankfully,
Yeah,
He
but man,
tried
the way
to-
he was walking around didn't look like it was. I diagnosed it with a crack.
we know that's who you are. Your doctor in your spare time. Thankfully for Kyle Tucker and the Astros, it is a contusion. He likely won't play tonight. We'll see how long he's out, but it could have
It's a
been
bone bruise.
It could have been much worse.
He's out for the next 4 games. Is
Is that what you're
analysis,
That's what
yeah.
you're saying. Are you a trainer in your spare time?
not a trainer. Astros probably don't want me saying things like he's out for the next 4 games, but I'm just going to call it 4 games. It looked pretty bad.
No.
And from my experiences when I had a high ankle sprain,
You're the type of athlete that Kyle Tucker is too, right? Your
maybe
healing
was, not
properties,
now.
yeah.
Not now. Maybe was. but
Maybe
not now.
was.
Yeah,
So
but
at
not
s-
now.
so at
I'm
some-
being honest, not now.
So
Not-
at some point you had a chance to be a major leaguer,
no, I didn't have the bat speed he had.
Mm.
You just said athlete.
but
I
you're
didn't
the
have
same
bat
type
speed.
of. You know,
Well, I had the bat speed.
that's your issue, the bat speed. But Kyle Tucker avoids we avoid a calamity. And back to your point about they can break off 8 in a row and the Mariners lose 8 in a row. I think talking about the Astros game to game is our best approach, because as soon as we start talking about chasing down the division, we're like, wait a minute, don't they have to actually beat good teams to do
Yeah,
that? So you just got to talk about the successes inside of a game. You
I
mentioned it, Jordan and the Bregman and Yiner. That's all we can discuss. And then if they start stacking these performances on top of each other game after game, then we start to have a real discussion. But anytime we start, hey, it's only June, sure. But does the team that you've seen suggest that this only June thing is going to lead into us stop saying it's only July, it's only early August? Stack the performances up, and then we can have a real talk.
You're right. You're right, and it's because
Talk-
it
we
just
could-
gets negative when you start
Yeah.
comparing it to other seasons. But on the whole, talking about that game, you were down 3-0,
You
3-0,
came
and you came back on the strength of, frankly, what it is that you do well and have done well since 17 is stack numbers up with home runs, and that's something the Astros have been good at, and it's something that they were able to do yesterday with Jordan, then Bregman, and then Yiner Diaz. So very good win for the Astros. Will take it. It's a sub-500 team at home, but any win at home, any comeback win is a good one, and the Astros win there. Astros will try to make it 2 in a row. It's another 7-10 game, and Spencer Arrighetti is throwing. And Spencer Arrighetti has been throwing pretty well. He's a confident player. I like the fact that Jordan and Bregman, this little mini run for them has lasted. For Bregman, it's now, I think, 6 games, 7 games. And then for Jordan, it's been about 4. So let's just keep this going. Hopefully, Yainer Diaz can get going and the Astros can start to string together a swept series. And, you're just going to have to chip away. But the only way they win a division is by playing good baseball. They're not really going to be able to back into it from 7.5 outs. So we'll obviously keep an eye on that. But getting Kyle Tucker, your best player, back on the field is going to be essential. And as you could see yesterday after the injury, he could barely put any weight on it at all. It looked really bad. So to hear that it's just a contusion is really good. But that bone bruise is going to, those things can last, especially when you have to shift weight and transfer weight and put the stress on the lower body as a hitter. So we'll see how many games he misses. I doubt it's going to be just one, but you've got enough in the lineup to carry him forward. So we'll see what happens from there. Astros, as I mentioned, they go again today. If you guys want to jump in on that, feel free. When we come back, we've got some more. I want to follow up on some of the fallout or potential dominoes falling from the big contract from Justin Jefferson. Huge contract yesterday. Huge contract. And we saw the outlay of cash that's coming. Oh, my gosh. The numbers that his contract is going to count from a cap standpoint is astonishing. And I'm kind of curious. I guess you can do that because you have a rookie quarterback. And I guess Minnesota is expecting a huge bump in the salary cap, which I think we may see. 7-12 right here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. If you guys want to jump in, 713-780-3776. Yes, there was some more Caitlin Clark drama. I honestly, Del, I just think right now the people who are in charge of sports as maybe, I don't know if it's producers so much as executives, and I think the people who host television shows specifically, maybe radio, but I know television, I just think they just like drama. A lot.
They do.
They like drama, they like beef, and it's something that they keep alive. Like, it's a really important thing now on ESPN to have drama and to have, what is it's a gossipy.
They have
type
talk
of thing
shows.
now.
If you have a talk show, you need drama and you need conflict. So yeah, that's what it is. It's a talk show about sports, and it's on TV. It's no different from Maury or at some point Springer.
Well, when did that happen though?
When debate shows became what they believed, and I guess it plays out, brings people to watch.
Yeah.
Just running highlights, I guess. Highlights are found easily on the internet, so I guess the motto can't be just we're gonna run Sports Center from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. and then have a serious, hard-hitting sports show until we get to our next Sports Center. That used to be the model. That's not the model anymore.
No, it's not the model. 7:14 here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. We'll take you all the way to 10 o'clock.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
So Justin Jefferson yesterday broke while we were on the air. He's picking up a contract of $140 million, including $110 million guaranteed. The first with wide receivers, it's always dominoes are going to fall. So it was Nico Collins actually got this thing kicked off because once Nico Collins is the first test case where he gets his contract, then the next contract, there was another one that came right after him.
Well, Devontae Smith might have been
first. Devontae was first, but it was a while back, though.
It was this.
Wasn't
this offseason, I believe.
No, it was this offseason, but like it wasn't within the last week or two.
No.
It happened a lot earlier.
But as far as big money receivers to get deal, particularly in Nico's class, you had Devontae Smith, Jalen Waddle,
but
and
there was
Nico.
Jalen Waddle, that's what it was. So it was Nico Collins went first. Okay, so it was Devontae went first. Then Nico Collins. It took a while. Then Nico Collins. And right after Nico Collins, you had Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
And then you had who was
Amon-Ra St. Brown got his money this offseason too.
Yeah. Yesterday you had Justin Jefferson get a big payday, and next up will be CeeDee Lamb. Now the talk, I was listening to some experts talk about this. I guess the thought is CeeDee's going to go after that same money, and he's not going to get it. That the Cowboys. Well, who do you think is better, CeeDee Lamb or Justin Jefferson? Who do you think should be the highest paid?
I would take Justin Jefferson.
I would too. AJ right now it's average per year.
And all the guys, A.J. Brown also got money this offseason too.
Devontae Smith, first rounder. Jalen Waddle, first rounder. Amon-Ra St. Brown was not. A.J. Brown, I believe, was a late first. Justin Jefferson, first rounder. So when you draft wide receivers in the first, you're expecting them to play well. This is going to be the new position that this is why teams are drafting wide receivers in the first and running backs not in the first, because you need that extra year, that cheap year. What do you care about? So this is the argument. What do you care about a cheap year for running backs when every year is a cheaper year for running backs? It's more important. Same thing, I've heard that argument for tight ends. Why do you care about a cheap extra year for tight ends when you're not going to pay an arm and a leg for tight ends? Wide receivers are where you need to get that fifth year and the ability to franchise to extend it to a sixth year and possibly seventh. Although I would argue most of those guys are not going to let you do that. They'll just hold out and quit football. But they'll pretend that they're going to. But the next guy up is CeeDee Lamb. But the next guy up also, talking to Steve Smith last night, just had a quick call we were talking about because he's working with some wide receivers. And he's in Miami today. Your guy wants his contract torn up and wants to be the highest paid. As soon as CD's contract is done, whoever's got the highest, your guy, Tyreek Hill, wants a new contract.
Well, there's Jamar Chase on the path of being the next guy to get his money too.
He should be.
He's in the draft.
Tyreek doesn't care. Whoever the next is that gets the highest, he wants to go higher.
I understand about the hierarchy, but as far as the draft class, 2021, Waddle, Devontae Smith, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Nico Collins, Jamar Chase was the first of those wide receivers taken in the draft. Right. He's still waiting on his deal.
Tyreek would be on contract 3.
Yeah, and the thought is that Tyreek is going to maybe get more money, maybe even this year, but not actually getting a giant new deal. That they would actually just give, hey, we're gonna because of what Justin Jefferson got, we're going to make you closer to what he's getting for this year, but we're not going to invest in an extension for you, like the conversation we had yesterday. Because are we going to pay 2 receivers that type of money for multiple years at the same time?
Pretty tough.
While we're paying the quarterback, while we got to get our defensive guys
quarterbacks are going to be
under contract too.
Quarterbacks are going to be in the $50 million range. So I don't know how you're going to be able to do it. That's why now, another thing Steve said yesterday was we were talking about Stephon Diggs, and he said, it's going to be really interesting. And he kind of said it the same things I say, which is he said that's Tank's room. I don't know what that means, but Steve's in with a lot of wide receivers and wide receiver coaches, and he said that's Tank and Nico's room. That's definitely their room. And he said C.J. Stroud does not, he'll stand up for himself. And so all the things I kind of thought also. So I don't think Stephon Diggs is going to be able to push people around like he did in Buffalo. At least that's what's perceived. And so it's going to be – he thought it would be, quote-unquote, interesting as well to see what happens with Stephon Diggs this year. So we're going to get Steve on the show next week and talk some football and some wide receivers with him. He's working with teams are paying him to come in, and he's working with wide receivers right now. He just got done working with Malik Neighbors and Jalen Hyatt. Now he's working with the slot receivers, or the who are your receivers over there? Not Waddle or Tyreek Hill. Who would they have him coming and working with?
What do you mean, young receivers?
Yeah. In Miami.
You got the two guys. Malik. They drafted the two Washingtons, Malik and Taj.
Maybe that's who he's. That
out of Virginia and USC.
Yeah, that may be who he's working with. I love Malik Washington from Virginia. So maybe that's who he's working with. But we'll get Steve on the show, and we'll talk a little Texans football and what he sees as well.
So as far as the Tyreek deal, he's making 19.76 this year. There's a year that he's never going to get where it's $45 million in 2026. He's never going to get that. The Dolphins can get out of it. So his real average annual salary is about 25. So that's below what you would consider market value for a guy of his caliber.
Sure, it is now.
Yes. So,
but it changed
rapidly. So despite it looking like 30, like I said, the $45 million is not realistic. So it's really about 25. So the thought is we're going to help. We're going to give Tyreek more money this year to make him to the level of the guys like Justin Jefferson and even his own teammate Jalen Waddle, whose average annual salary is at 28.
That with no benefit to the team, and the benefit of the team would be to somehow, shave off salary. So if you could give them the money, I don't know how they would structure it, but the only reason you want to help a player and give him more money is if you can also it's a give and take, and you can help yourself. Would he extend his contract for one more year? Could they even afford that though? With Tua coming up, this year, after this year, unless they franchise Tua?
Yeah, well, we heard from Ian Rappaport yesterday that the Dolphins are closer to a deal with Tua than the Jags are with what's his name, Trevor Lawrence. So the Tua deal's probably going to happen this offseason. What the number is, it's going to be in the $50 million range, and then the debate will happen about what he's actually worth. But that's not for the Dolphins to have a discussion about. They're going to pay him, and it'll be at the level of the young quarterbacks that have already gotten paid. So it's less of a thing about Tua, obviously. The quarterback gets his money. But if you're paying Tyreek, what does it mean for your young defenders?
Yeah.
Because we know the quarterback gets theirs, but is Tyreek's money going to affect how they pay their defenders that need their money too?
Well, and I know we're talking about Dolphins. Some of you don't care, but it has an impact. You can study any team and any team's problems or any team's questions, now that the Texans have actual talent, is going to come back to the Texans anyway. You're just looking at that as a test case. Okay, I could take what we're talking about and say, all right, you have Nico Collins, you have Tank Dell, you have Stephon Diggs. How are you going to pay all three of those? Now, I wouldn't worry about Tank. Tank's a long way away, but
sure.
You do have to worry about it with Stephon Diggs.
And at some point, Stingley's going to be asking for money too.
Stingley has played. This is going to be year 3. So, yeah, Stingley's going to want to get paid. Now, the one thing we have learned is it's always better for the team to do an early deal than a late deal. It does put you in. If you're talking about Stingley, he's had a lot of out for the year type stuff. He missed, he had his best year the best year of football he's had since 2019, and he missed 7 games. So it's still a concern that him staying healthy is still a big concern, but it's always better for a team to give money early. We've seen that with the Astros. They always try to give money early because the rapid incline of salaries at certain positions in the NFL is just staggering. So if you can get, and that's why if you wanted to get C.J. Stroud locked up early, you could try, but if I'm David Mulgeta, I probably don't, and I hate saying this because I don't want to, I don't want to have to go through this as a fan of CJ's and the Texans, but if you're David Mulgeta, why in the world would you do a deal early when a quarterback, the bar is changing every single year? Why would you do a deal early at wide receiver? The bar is moving up so rapidly. In 2 years, your deal will be obsolete. If you're an agent, that's your thought. Now, if you're a fan and if you're the team, you think, hey, we gave you a bunch of money. It's not our fault that it went up. And there is truth in that, the contract. But I think the flip side of that is this is why agents want shorter deals. And this is why teams are going to have to. There's no such thing as 6-year deals anymore. They don't exist because players want to get back to the market, and teams understand that. And whether you like or not that everything just revolves around contract and revolves around insane payment numbers. That's how the league operates. So you can lament it. You can say, I don't want to watch football anymore, or I don't want to watch sports anymore because of it. But if you don't like it, then you probably aren't going to watch sports anymore because this is the way it is and this is the way it's going to be. And you just hope everyone's love for, love for the game's kind of corny because for a lot of players, it is a check and it is a means to a way of life. But you just hope that guys just keep playing just as hard once they get their money.
And is there really that concern for the elite players? Like, if there's a player who may have just do it for a year, I would see the concern. But the elite players generally don't. Oh, well, I got my money. I'm done here.
I don't think
it generally doesn't happen.
I don't think for the elite, but non-elite guys are getting paid elite money now.
Well, I guess I would say guys who have shown a propensity to not work hard, period. Does the not working hard just show up after you get paid for the most part?
So here's the, I'm not going to say anything because I don't want to take a bunch of heat. So Steve Smith told me about one guy who he's really worried about, who is not, he doesn't think he's doing what he should do based on the numbers and things he's hearing. And yeah, I think there's always, the biggest concern is always going to be with quarterbacks. But then here's the problem is you could give a wide receiver non-elite money, but it's still $22 million. $22 million, if you guarantee 60 of it, and this is a really good wide receiver too, you could theoretically have a player who says, I'm not going to work as hard in the offseason, like, for what? I'm already good. I'm still good. And that actually does last for a while. But then physically, when anything starts to slow down, if your work ethic's not good, if you're not making a real effort in the offseason, your career will end very, very quickly. It's been that way forever. My favorite wide receiver growing up, the guy that I loved was John Jefferson, who was a wide receiver with the Chargers and then the and then the Packers. And I remember talking to James Lofton. I think it was James Lofton one time. I had a chance to talk to him, and I asked about JJ, my favorite. I said, why did he go from so great to just like falling off the earth? He just said he just wasn't a worker. He just, and he didn't even get paid. They didn't even get great money back then when he played. So that can be a problem. We had Bam Morris in studio with us years ago, and he told us, there's a lot of players in the NFL who just want to, like he said, I didn't really like football, but I liked how much money I could get, and I liked what it allowed me to do. And so now that the money's going, and that's before money was really, really great. Now the money's going so much higher. I think that's one of my big concerns. Has there been a problem in soccer? You saw that bum Lukaku once he left Everton.
You love all of a sudden he's a bum.
Yeah, he is a bum. As soon as
Why?
he went out and took the big money.
He left your
no,
little
as soon as
club?
he went out and got a bunch of money, look what he became. Just a bum.
You
Everywhere
mean a
he's
starter
been.
for some of the biggest clubs in the
Everywhere
world?
hates him. PSG fans hate him.
They hate him.
Man, you hated him.
And yet everyone keeps bringing him in.
I know, because they keep thinking they're going to get the best out of him.
How come the teams don't realize he's such a bum if he's a bum, Lance?
Why does he keep going different places?
Well, it happens, but
All those
different places are the top clubs in the world.
Score a goal, bumski.
What?
You were fine in the Merseyside derby. Sometimes the grass isn't always greener away from.
He scored 13 goals and 32 appearances for Roma over the last 2 seasons. That's
Big deal.
That's
no
a good
one's watching that.
That's what? No one's watching Serie A. Is what you're saying?
No. Who in this country?
That's a good.
Who in this country watches Serie A?
Well, there are other countries that watch soccer too. Not just this country. Who in this country watches Everton besides you?
Lots of people.
It's not lots of people.
Yep. 7:32 here on on ESPN 97.5, 92.5. All right, you guys want to jump in? 713-780-3776, 713-780-3776. Pat McAfee had to apologize yesterday, the same day he made a comment on a show. Probably not ideal. I probably won't play. Should I play the sound?
I mean, you could play it.
It's in the system.
Well, I put it on the.
Dell said yes.
I put it on the rundown. You can play it if you so choose.
Yeah, then I'm going to do that. I'm going to do that, and I'm also going to tell you about Daspit Law. That's John Daspit's law firm, daspitlaw.com. You can call him a 713 call now. John Daspit handles, I want to tell you, one of the worst things he's got to do is deal with loss of life. And I'll give you an example. During during this refinery blast, this horrific refinery blast that John Daspit dealt with from a few years back. The case just ended last year. It was very long, very drawn out, but John Daspit was working for multiple families, and he was working his tail off so that he could get the very best offer that he could for his clients, and he was ready to go to court. They were going to go to court, and last minute a deal got done because he had to deal with the situation that families had lost the earner in the family. There was a loss of life, and what do you put on that? I mean, what is the number on that one? How do you handle something like that? Years and years of having a bread earner who is no longer with the family, the loss of a father, the loss of a mother. That is something that is crushing emotionally and can be crushing financially. And John Daspit, even in those very rough instances, he is going to fight for you. His lawyers are going to fight to make sure that you're taken care of financially. Obviously, there's nothing you can do emotionally, but he wants to make sure that you don't have the stress and strain of losing that bread earner. And the same thing happens if you're badly injured and you can't work, you're missing time from work. He's going to fight for you to get paid for that time because it was someone else's negligence that caused you to miss that work. So let John Daspit be your guiding light moving towards a settlement so that he can get you taken care of once you've been injured and that you don't have to come out of your own pocket. 713-CALL NOW. That's 713-CALL NOW, or go to DaspitLaw.com.
It's John and Lance.
Do you have any doctors or any?
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Lance, Dana Brown ain't got time for your agendas.
Yep.
Lance wants the Astros to sell it all Sell it. He wants to be like a corporate raider and break it down for parts. Sell off all the parts of the Astros.
Maybe not all the parts, but just
like
maybe just replenish so we can keep this thing going.
Dana Brown says, "I'm not effing leaving when it comes to this season." He told the media yesterday, this is courtesy of Chandler Rome, "I think we're going to be buyers. I don't see any scenario where we're sellers. I've seen teams blow leads from 5 games up to 7 games up in September. I don't foresee us being sellers at all. We're going to grind it out. I think we're going to get back to 500 before people know it, and we'll be back in the race." So no thoughts of, stopping the run. We're going for 9 in a row. 9 in a row.
All right. 9, it'd be 8, I think.
I thought was last year 8 or was last year 7?
17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Oh, yeah, you're right.
Well,
no,
this
this is 24. So it was 7
8.
last year. Yeah.
So it's 8.
You're going for 8
We're going for 8 in a row.
ALCS in a row. So Dana says the great Jeff Passan said this, though. And this is the guy that I listen to on baseball.
Yeah.
Jeff is
we know your history.
thick-skinned, and Jeff is a guy who is very, very rational and reasonable. He said this: most front offices don't think the Astros will wind up subtracting. It's not Jim Crane's style, and Houston still possesses a solid enough core to contend in 25. That said, the Astros have 4 potential routes they could add, which remains an option because despite the hole they've dug themselves, they're just 7 games in back of Seattle. They could stand pat and hope the returns of Luis Garcia and Lance McCullers help a depleted rotation. And then he said Jose Urquidy is likely headed for Tommy John surgery, and Christian Javier's status remains up in the air. They could do a soft unload, moving only their pending free agents, both big names, Alex Bregman and reliever Ryan Presley, or they could go full reimagining, shipping out Kyle Tucker and Framber Valdez, in addition to Bregman and Presley. Generally, when trading players of Tucker and Valdez's ilk, teams wait until the winter to ensure the largest market possible. But if the inventory of available players is grim this summer, and if the Astros don't believe they're a playoff team, it's incumbent upon Dana Brown to, at the very least, listen to offers and see if a contender will overpay to reap 2 postseason runs from Tucker and Valdez. See, that's where I'm at. I could see. I just, frankly, I don't think you can move on from Framber. I just don't. You went from being loaded at pitcher to Christian Javier, Hunter Brown, McCullers.
And by the way,
41-year-old Verlander. Like, you're not loaded at pitcher anymore right now. In theory, you are.
You mentioned pitcher. We didn't even mention the news from yesterday. Jose Urquidy's likely to have Tommy John surgery.
Yep.
So
yep.
If you missed that news, Jose Urquidy and Dana Brown was worried about it, and rightfully so. It looks like Jose Urquidy will have another TJ.
Another pitcher with Tommy John. Is this 2 for him?
I believe so. I'll make sure to look that up. But
no. I don't think he's had. I don't know, but this is crazy. Boston just lost 2 starters to Tommy John surgery. Not Boston, but Baltimore lost 2 starters to Tommy John for the season to Tommy John surgery. This is an insane amount of Tommy John injuries right now. An insane amount. And I know people think it's all happening in Major League Baseball, but it's a combination of youth baseball. I've got to wonder if any of this spin rate stuff and the breaking pitches, if all the things that Little League coaches said years ago, like Shelly Everson, the great Shelly Everson, or the great Lupe Garza from Lamar Little League back in the day, where Lupe would bring a cooler. He had 1 cooler for us that had Sprites and Mr. Pibbs, and his cooler had Schlitz in it.
This would be Urquidy's second if he has to have it.
So he's had 2. McCullers has had 2, or has he had 1.5?
What's the half?
Well, because he's always hurt.
I don't know. I don't know if the half is.
You've had Verlander. You've had Luis Garcia. You now have, there's a ton of Astros. And I know the Astros and Strom and Leno and everything is about breaking pitches, spin rate. I'm just asking a question. Does this – I don't know who I need to talk to here. I don't think you know the answer to this. Who would I need to talk to find out if this emphasis on spin rate and breaking pitches is starting to have an impact on the arms around Major League Baseball? Because this is a calamity. You've seen it with Dodgers, you've seen it with Yankees, you've seen it now with Astros. Baltimore lost 2 starters, although they weren't great. But this is a major, major, major issue.
Maybe you should call up the butcher and ask him what he thinks.
We're not going to make. So Dell's referring to Brett Strom, and he calls him the butcher.
Look what's happened to his staff. I mean, the after effects of his
Brent the Butcher Strom is what he calls
the
it.
after effects of his terror run through this Astros
Reign of terror.
Yes,
Wasn't a reign of terror. We went to the World Series.
and what has happened to the arms?
I mean, guys are.
Hey, Jose.
There's a lot of Tommy Johns.
Hey, Jose Urquidy, what did it take? Everything. It took everything.
The only guy who hasn't had a Tommy John that's been, well, Javier hasn't yet.
What did it take to win those World Series? All the arms for the Astros.
Would you?
I'm glad Charlie Morton got out of here when he did.
Golly, like all the arms.
Yeah.
Although one of them came back from the Tommy John, and that would be Verlander to win a Cy Young and World Series.
It's true.
But you look at the amount of injuries. I mean, Fromber's never had it, but Fromber also throws from a little different. He's not over the top 12-6 curveball.
Are you going to get in line with my thinking now? Are we going to?
What's your thinking?
We officially call him the Butcher.
No, I'm not calling Brent Strom the Butcher. Nope, we're never going to do that. That's what we're not going to do, sis.
Don't do
We're
that.
not gonna do that.
Just because he won titles doesn't mean he doesn't have a say in what's happening to these arms. The other thing you're talking about Passan. Passan is positioning it like Dana Brown has a choice. Like Dana Brown can step in there.
Well, he does mention. He said at the very least they have to listen to offers to see if a contender
Dana Brown doesn't.
He
decide.
said even if it goes against Crane's instinct,
Well,
he knows it's Crane.
Yeah, Crane is the one who will decide whether any of that happens. And if Jim Crane says no, we're not.
What would
he's
you
not
think
doing
about?
it.
But what about the soft unload? I will admit
Well,
that's
the soft
highly
unload
unlikely.
is simply not. The soft unload is what they're going to do with Bregman. They're not going to trade him because it would be the ripple effects of what it means for giving up on the season. They're just going to let him go.
No, you're probably right. What about? I could see them moving Presley.
I could see it, but
I don't know what you get for Ryan Presley.
At this point, I have no idea.
I mean, it can't be great. It can't be great. There was a player in Major League Baseball that was banned for betting and maybe banned for life. We'll tell you who that is, and that's something to keep an eye on, that's for sure. Major League Baseball's kind of got a history of being really hard on people who gamble. 7:45 here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. Don't forget you can listen on the app as well. I want to tell you about QC Kinetics' ability to heal you. I don't know if they're doing anything with elbows for those of you who need Tommy John surgery. But the fact is, those of us in the real world, we don't really need Tommy John surgery, but some people need knee replacements. Some people need hip replacements. Some people have severe shoulder issues because, they've had maybe a torn labrum that has not healed, and it's something that still causes pain for you. Listen, if you have pain in a joint, usually the solution is you take pain medicine until you have to start taking a steroid shot, and then that lasts for 3 or 4 months at max, and then you're on to thinking about more pain medicine and then a surgery and then downtime from surgery. That's not the best QC Kinetics is doing out there. They are going with regenerative medicine. Regenerative attacks the problem. It doesn't put a Band-Aid on it. They regrow and restore damaged tissue in the joint, and they use the body's healing power to do it. Tremendous success rate. This is what professional athletes are using so that they can get back on the field at a high level. Why not have it available for you? Well, they do, and there's 4 locations here in Houston. It's qckinetics.com. Go to the website and set up your consultation and see how quickly they can get you back to your active self and more pain-free. It's qckinetics.com.
You're back in the Veritex Community Bank Studios with John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
$7:49 here on ESPN 97.5 and 92.5. As I mentioned, shoot out those tweets and we will get to them. At Lance Zerline, at Del V2. Jonathan says, don't bury the lead. Before Yiner saved the day, Espada pinch hit the worst hitter in the history of baseball in a tied game in the 8th inning. What was that?
That was an uncompetitive at-bat.
So, yes, technically a guy who slashes in the hundreds in every single category.
Technically.
Did pinch hit. Technically, he pinch hit for Singleton. That would be, obviously, Jose Abreu. And technically, he struck out.
No.
He was 0 for 1 with a strikeout.
No, it wasn't technically. He struck out.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Technically, he did. That means he did. But I can't even make up a joke.
No, there's no reason.
There's no joke. There's no silver lining. Why would you ever? You lost Kyle Tucker, so you don't have your other first. Well, I guess you could have moved. Your boy Mauricio Dubon to first base if you needed to. But you know what? Just go lefty. I mean, it's not going to be.
What's the difference?
You have no chance with Jose Abreu. You have no chance. I'd almost rather you let a different person pinch hit and then stuck him in there as a defensive. You can't even say defensive replacement. I'd rather just give Singleton a chance, just lefty on lefty, and not even worry about it.
Maybe he gets lucky.
You downgraded defensively. Maybe he does, or maybe he strikes out.
No, I'm talking Singleton. Maybe he gets lucky.
Oh, yeah, maybe Singleton gets lucky.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's just as good a chance he gets lucky as actually there's not. There's a much greater chance
that
Jose Abreu strikes out.
Yeah, it's a better chance Singleton gets lucky than Abreu even makes contact.
So,
that was a poor at bat. Yeah. This is going to be a problem because they're it's not just about, hey, let's cut him, get rid of him. There's a pride factor. That's a big signing that's gone poorly, so we're going to give him at bats to see if this thing can turn around. It doesn't appear it will, but this is about that was our big signing when it was me and Jeff making decisions. So going out there and see if you can turn this around.
I just don't understand it when you know the answer is probably no, and all it does is put more heat on him. Like, you don't think he gets up to the plate with an absolute lack of confidence? I don't think Jose Abreu has to luck into a hit right now. Like, he would have to check swing something and bloop it into right field. I don't know how Jose Abreu is ready to do anything. Like, he doesn't look capable. He didn't even rip up the minor leagues. A-ball. I get that you want to try to – this idea that you're going to save yourself. Yeah, we just want to save face by what? Playing him more on the major league level? Dumb. Having people like Jonathan Lee come after you on Twitter on a huge national show like ours, that's not good for you. It makes you look bad.
Just leave him in Florida. We would have conveniently forgot about him, and it wouldn't have mattered. Lo Profito,
it would have been over.
It would have been fine. Lo Profito would have been up. Your affiliate wouldn't have taken a shot that they did that you probably called down and said, "Hey, cut that out, delete that tweet." None of that would have happened if you would have just left them down in Florida. We would have been cool. He would have been cool. Sure, you're still paying him, but you're not paying him to embarrass you on the major league level. He's just down there chilling. It's cool.
Keith just had the worst tweet I've ever seen.
What?
Would the White Sox do the Astros a favor and bring Abreu home in a trade? Louston can throw in a pitching prospect to offset the contract. Abreu, Chaz, and Arrighetti for Pham, Kopech, and Lorenzen. No, they're not gonna. They're not gonna do you a favor and take Chaz and Arrighetti for those three. Although, and I don't want Tommy Pham in my locker room.
I kind of do.
Tommy Pham that's because you don't actually love the Astros like I do.
No, I think we talk about the lack of fire with
Tommy
this club.
Pham just said, I fight in the
leadership.
offseason so I can F people up. That's what he just said the other day.
Maybe the Astros need that. Bring a little fear into the clubhouse.
We already had, what was his name? We choked the general manager. We already
Sean
had
Chacon.
Sean Chacon already choked Ed Wade. So we don't need that kind of fire where we have Tommy Pham fighting, Yainer Diaz or Tommy Pham threatening
I need an
the
enforcer.
life of Josh Miller.
No, not actual players. Not actual players. An enforcer for when
hey, I
other
know
teams
what?
disrespect the Astros.
How about the Fever, the Indiana Fever signed
Tommy
Tommy
Pham can't play in the WNBA.
I bet you there's not a bunch of hip checks to Caitlin Clark if Tommy Pham's out there because he already wants to F you up.
I just don't think his jump shot's good enough.
It's not. I know there's WNBA jokes coming there, so I'll leave it there.
You brought it to the table.
Breaking news, Kevin James is going to play John Daly in a new series, says Brian. Yeah, it makes sense, I guess. I guess that makes sense.
Is there a need for a John Daly TV series? Who's looking for that?
John Granado.
Like a specific segment of the golf population is looking for a John Daly TV series. Is that going to be enough to get people to watch?
I will say, name another golfer. You have Tiger, but
Tiger's going to be on one of those FX shows where the fall from grace type deals. Where,
yeah,
where
if he hasn't already.
Where they chronicle all the extramarital stuff.
Yeah, see, guys like that, I only want documentaries. I don't want these biopics where I have to see an actor play it because it's just it's unbelievable. Even Will Smith did a great job of taking boxing lessons, getting into the type of shape to be, Muhammad Ali. And even then, it's just there's no suspension of disbelief because I don't believe it.
Yeah.
Like, I just don't believe it. And then did you see – now, I think I am going to watch Clipped, which is the documentary
Why do you want to
about
watch
Donald
that show?
Sterling.
I
know.
refuse. Man, well, I might watch it.
I think it's going to be interesting.
For content for my show, because Sean and I have talked about in the past about how ridiculous it looks. So I might do it for that, but not that I have any real interest in watching a chronicle of the Clippers run with Donald Sterling. I got to watch Lawrence Fishburne play Doc Rivers.
Now, that was hard to believe. Yeah. Lawrence Fishburne is Doc Rivers, and Ed – it's not Ed Harris. Is it Ed? No, it's not Ed Harris. What's his name who plays Al Bundy? Who plays –
It's Ed O'Neill.
Ed O'Neill. Yeah, Ed O'Neill plays he plays the role of Donald Sterling. I don't know. I might watch it. I might not. We don't know. I've been on quite a roll right now. I watched Civil War. I watched golly. Man, I'm just tearing through them. Just finished first episode of Mayor of Kingstown.
I watched
season
that
3.
yesterday.
Yeah.
Ooh, that woman from the bar. Ooh, what they did to her.
Oh, man. You could already tell that wasn't going to go good for her.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to see more of her.
Well, we'll go back to season 2 then.
Yeah. No spoiler alert. People die on Mayor of Kingstown. No spoiler alerts, but
oh, you mean
Robert is a real problem.
Oh, you mean the guy who nearly died in the season finale? You know what? I got to protect my guys. My guys are pinned down.
This is what I don't like. He had a sling on. I've had a shoulder injury before.
Mm-hmm.
If you got a sling on, you can't just take your sling
but
off
you're not
and go in with rocket launchers.
You're not as tough as him, though.
You can't. Yeah, Robert's pretty tough. I will say Robert probably just played through the pain. I'm not fighting through that pain. Go to QC Kinetics. I'll get better on a natural schedule. I don't even know if he did physical therapy. He just went out and got a rocket launcher. Just went right out there.
And what was that? A meth house?
He's probably the meanest. He's probably the meanest character I've ever seen on a streaming show.
Meaner than Joffrey? That's not streaming. That was HBO. But I guess your point. There's got to be more, but he's at the top.
It does feel like the two things I've noticed on shows: you can kill with impunity.
Sure.
There is no penalty for killing a lot of people on TV, and everybody can break into a home. Literally, television has just said, "Look, we're not going to get through. We're just going to let people, like it was always on Bosch. Everybody can break into a house
Everyone
really
knows how.
easily, and no one has alarm systems.
No one
has alarm systems. You can break in because, like, you get stuck. We need to have our character go through the house and go find something. What do? Let's just have him break in. When there's no alarm right now, no, there's just not. Everyone else is doing it. Let's just have him break in super easily. I'm not buying that. 7:59. We'll break it right here. When we come back, I'll let you know what Pat McAfee said something that Pat Mahomes would never say. I can promise you that.
Because they're
both Pats.
Both Pats. Patrick Surtain wouldn't say it either.
Pat Surtain probably would not say it. Pretty much all Pats I know. Patrick Creighton would never say this.
No.
He would say it to make fun of Pat McAfee.
Yeah, I don't know a Pat who would say it except
I don't
for
know
McAfee.
Pat would say this other than Pat McAfee. 7:59 here on ESPN 97.5. .803. And as I said, we're going to get callers in quickly if you jump in. 713-780-3776. Our guy AMF is on the line right now. What's up, AMF? Bring on AMF. There we go, Sam. What's up, AMF?
To follow up on these streaming shows, have you seen Under the Bridge? Because that would support what you say, Lance, about these girls and how mean they can be. It is disturbing. It's a true story. It's on
Hulu.
Hulu.
Yeah, I watched the entire thing. I hated all those girls. They're the worst.
They're horrible.
They're
I want to
horrible
slap
people.
some of them. I mean,
Like, it's set in the
and then
90s.
other one,
It's set in the 90s. And
the
they're...
other one I saw yesterday.
Oh, go
Okay,
ahead.
thanks,
Go ahead.
AMF.
Go ahead, AMF.
Appreciate it. Adios, mother.
Oh.
That's what AMF
I'm sorry to
stands
talk
for.
over him a little bit. It's set in the 90s, and so all the girls are into rap, and they're called CMC. The girls started a gang. It's like the three of them or four of them called CMC, and it's Crip. I think it's Crips Mafia Cartel, something like that. They make it up, and so there's all these girls who come from broken homes, and then there's one girl who's got a stable family, but she's an outsider. I think she might be if I remember, of Indian descent. So she's trying to fit in with all the white kids, and there's also a black girl involved as well. So they're the worst. They treat the
white Crip Mafia cartel.
Yeah, they treat the girls' parents terrible.
Is this based on a true story?
It's based on a true story. I don't want to give it away. Just to know, if you watch it on Hulu, you're going to hate these girls because they're the worst people on earth.
Yeah, I already do. There was a documentary called HBO doesn't have it on anymore. You can go through all the HBO stuff. There's 2 that they don't have anymore. Banging in Little Rock 1, the original, with the white kids who are branding themselves and singing Snoop. And then Pimps Up, Pose Down. Also, you're not going to find Pimps Up, Pose Down. I do have the DVD, but you won't find that anymore either. But yeah, no, I know that feeling of watching and just really disliking characters. They wanted to make them unlikable, and they succeeded.
Yeah, they go to a parent's home and they're completely disrespectful, and it's like, oof, like, what do we? Oh, you want to you just want to throw them under the bridge.
Told you. Me and Sam tried to tell you that yesterday, Del.
What? That girls are mean?
Yeah, some of them.
Well, I'm not.
You ever see that show, Mean Girls?
Yes, it's.
See?
You mean the movie?
Yeah.
I didn't watch the second one.
It's a musical now.
That's why I didn't watch the second one. It's a musical. I was out. Like, they turned the second one into a musical. I was out. I don't watch musicals.
What might those girls say about another girl? What might they call her?
Well, they might use the terminology that Pat McAfee used.
Attaboy, Del. Here's Pat McAfee. Now, this was not – now, I will warn you, if you're headed to school and your kids have finals or whatever, you might want to turn the channel and then listen to – he's going to say an ugly word, but it's one we can play on the air, but it's still an ugly word. And, Sam, hopefully you don't say this about other women, because you got to be women who love women.
Are you explaining to a woman how she should behave?
It's called lance-splaining.
So you did like Barbie?
Yeah, Barbie was the jam. But I mostly like the parts with Ken. So I don't know if that.
So in a movie about
women,
you like the parts with Ken?
Yeah, I like that part. Where,
okay.
And when
he's just Ken,
when Will Ferrell, everyone's like, "What's she doing here?"
Yeah, I remember.
No, I didn't love Barbie, but I watched it. It was Oscar nominated, so I checked it out. Now Pat McAfee is trying to explain. He's being positive about Caitlin Clark. Why he said this? I think he said this because he was kind of talking about the racial undertones, I believe, that he thinks is there with Caitlin Clark. Although he doesn't say it, but just the name that he gives her, the term that he uses, well, you'll see what we mean. Here's Pat McAfee.
The GOAT. Is she what? I don't know. I just, with my eyes, I couldn't see if she's Caucasian or not. So I think what we're trying to say is what the WNBA currently has is what we like to describe as a cash cow. There is a superstar. And we're not saying that the players on the court need to act any differently. That's the athletes are going to do what athletes are going to do in any sport. And I think we're all learning that WNBA, that's old school football, baby. That is old school football. But I would like the media people that continue to say, this rookie class, this rookie class, this rookie class. Nah, just call it for what it is. There's one white bitch for the Indiana team who is
No, you don't have to dump it. You don't have to dump it.
And is it because she stayed in
Did
Iowa,
you dump
put
it?
an entire state on her back, took a program from nothing to a multiple-year success
Take it off
story?
now. Take it off.
Is it because
Did I?
You scared her into
Did I
dumping
scare
it.
you into dumping? See, come on the microphone, Sam. I got to explain something to you. I've also been involved in community theater, and I've done characters and whatnot over the years. So that's part of the acting where I go, ooh, like that. Like, it's just part of I'm selling the bit. So I scared you into dumping. Pat McAfee called Caitlin Clark.
The B
so
word.
she's a we got a cash cow here, and the media says, no, this rookie class, no, we got a white bitch. And I don't really know why he would use that there. Like, I don't understand why Pat McAfee would have done that, to be honest with you. I don't know what the purpose, like, it didn't really fit to me that he would have done that. So Pat McAfee did that yesterday, and he had to come back yesterday and apologize and say, hey, I'm sorry, there's better ways I could have got that out of the way. Now, look, Pat McAfee owns his own he's not going to be on ESPN in 2 years. Well, he may. I don't know if his show will be, but he gets to say whatever he wants on the show because he owns his own show. They basically just lease his show, and they're paying him a ton of money to do it, and he's on all these other TV shows. So Pat McAfee's not going to get in any trouble. He apologized for what he said. I mean, he basically got one of the ESPN's executives, John Skipper. He got him out of the – was it Skipper? No.
It was Norby, right?
Norby, yeah, Norby Williamson. He got him out of the building. He was able to do that. So it is true. She is a cash cow. There's no doubt. But the league's going to go on, and it is better for, frankly, if you have a villain, if you have the villain and you have the good guy. I think it was you that was saying this yesterday. Or maybe it's someone
if you want to okay, thanks for that.
But
if you want to position Caitlin Clark as the hero, depending on your rooting interest, it's more entertaining to have people you can root against. You know why I'm going to watch the finals beyond the fact that I have this job? Because I hate the Celtics. So I don't particularly care that much about the Mavs, but I hate the Celtics. So they're the villain in this. They're fairly likable individuals, but I hate the brand. I hate the team. So I'm going to watch.
What's funny is they're not actually that likable in the West because Luka's become more likable now that he's actually winning, and we're watching it, and our teams aren't getting beat, whoever your team is.
Sure.
But Luka hasn't always been all that.
And watching his demeanor on the
Kyrie's
floor.
not likable.
Well, Luka on the floor is not a great watch if you like guys who don't whine. Luka's not for you.
Oh, he's a mega whiner.
Yeah, he's a whiner. He screams. You can see every emotion on his face, which is fine. But you know what he's about. And anytime he doesn't get things to go his way,
that white bitch can ball though.
Okay.
See, I'm trying to bring it across.
You want to make it
needs
equal?
to be equal.
Sure,
yeah.
Sure. But as far as the WNBA is concerned, I said yesterday, where the Fever are, where they're an awful basketball team, and Caitlin Clark, the counting numbers look okay, but the efficiency isn't very good. It's not entertaining to watch her go 4 for 13 and score 14 points. You need people to bring a conflict to the games, and the conflict is, I don't know if it's we don't like her or we're going to give her rookie moments over and over again, but there are enough players and enough teams who are already better than the Fever that can use physicality to try to throw off her game. And the biggest thing, and it's been talked about quite a bit, is like let's use Luka for example. If in Thursday night's game against the Celtics, let's say Peyton Pritchard, when Luka's ready for an inbound, comes and does what Carter did to Clark, you think any Mavericks player is going to let that stand?
No.
Issue, my biggest issue for having a conversation about hoops is beyond how bad the Fever are, where is just standing up for a teammate, any teammate. It doesn't matter. It doesn't have to be Clark.
That's in any sport.
It's for anybody. That's what happens when you forget about the star that Caitlin Clark is and the attention and the talk about her. That person is on your team. If someone does that to your teammate, what do? You just don't. And if we see that, we always talk about things in baseball. Hey, the hitter got hit. The pitcher needs to protect the hitter. That was an Astro thing for years before, we started focusing on important things like them winning a lot of ball games. The thought was the Astro pitchers don't stand up for the hitters. I don't know if it played a real part in the clubhouse, but that was a discussion outside. No one said, "Hey, Carter, you can't do that." And the fact, if I was watching that and the Fever were my favorite team, I would say, "Hey, you don't even let Angel Reese get away with her reaction to it, where she's applauding it and thrilled by it when you see her on the sideline." The whole thing would be like, "Look, we may suck, but you're not gonna hit us, and we're gonna pretend like we like it."
Yeah, no, yeah, because that wouldn't stand in baseball. Of course, that was one of the big beefs. Is it the pitchers didn't protect Bagwell, Biggio, and the Astros way back in the day? There was a lot of problems with having a feeling that Astros pitchers didn't protect. That's the one thing. If somebody in hockey, it's always been a known thing. You have goons because if somebody takes it out on one of your speedy players, your offensive players, you have to have somebody to make them answer for it.
And I'm not going to pretend like I know all the ins and outs of every team in the WNBA. So if that would have happened to Kelsey Plum on the Aces, or Asia Wilson on the Aces, would someone have stepped in for them? Maybe. I don't know. Maybe it's not part of how the WNBA works. But we're told how physical it is, and it's a different ballgame. Get used to it. Stop overreacting to whatever Caitlin Clark has to go through. All I saw out there on Saturday was a team who just let one of their players, forget Star or Caitlin Clark, they let one of their players get bullied, and are like, you know what, we're cool. Just let's get that free throw and inbound the basketball for our next possession. That's maybe why one of the reasons that Matt Barnes said we played yesterday, the Fever aren't very good.
Yeah, and there was actually we'll get to it a little bit later on. I don't want to just keep on going with all the Caitlin Clark stuff, but Angel Reese had an interesting comment, and then I actually thought that McNutt, what's her first name?
Monica.
Yeah, Monica McNutt. I thought she owned Stephen A. Smith yesterday, and then Stephen A. Smith had his own podcast where he tried to show how much of an ally to women he was, and it was the most uncomfortable thing, dude. Why is Caitlin Clark making everyone so
weird? Everyone's
so weird. Well, you're just seeing how people really are weird. You have a polarizing player, and it's making people really weird, and they're having a hard time. They don't know how to act. People don't know how are we supposed to handle this? And I think it's kind of funny because when you're performative so often, then once you have a topic like you're not sure how it's supposed to fall along political lines or whatever lines, and you're like, well, wait, how am I supposed to handle this? And so when people are handling it outside of the realm of how you think, then other people get mad, and it's been it's actually for me been kind of interesting to see, because I really don't know what the take is going to be from a lot of different people on this, and I've kind of changed. My whole thing is, I think there's an element of jealousy. I think most of it, when you see the racial stuff, I think a lot of it's more on Twitter than it is in the real world. To be honest with you, when I say real world, the people actually participating, I think a lot of it is the culture wars on Twitter, because it's so played out, all the culture war stuff on Twitter. But I also think there's a part of it like, hey, sometimes you got to get busted up a little bit. This is just her hill to climb, her cross to bear. You want to be known as, and not that she wants to be known, she's just trying to play ball. It's not her fault that everyone has put so much on her, but that's one of the blessings that comes with the money that comes with it and the adoration and the fame. The downside is, you have everything on your back. Every game is hyper scrutinized. Other people are not going to like you or be jealous of you. That's just life. This isn't that crazy.
I think the craziest part for me is if we just keep it to basketball.
Like when I came in, the way you and Raheel and John treated me when I came back here, it was bullcrap. I was like the Caitlin Clark of the show, getting bullied and pushed around.
Yeah,
and I overcame.
We definitely called you a white bee from time to time.
I know. Sam already said you talk bad about people behind their back. She said that yesterday.
Well, she's just adding. She's adding a narrative, which I appreciate because I do that too. But beyond that, like when people are talking about the players in the league and say, how could you attribute it to jealousy? It's just simply them being veterans and showing the rookie what it is. Look, are we going to pretend like we don't understand the human condition? Is this particular subset of people the one group of people who don't operate under that? They're the only people who never have resentment or jealousies about whether they think someone earned it or not. WNBA players are the only ones who just operate out of, look, we're just hooping. Of course individuals in the league, not the whole league, have looked at this and said, I don't like this. That ain't right. I've been putting in time. Why haven't I seen this type of attention? They're not. Look, just be honest about it. Individuals, resentment exists. It's not the whole league, but it is some of it.
Yeah.
And be realistic about how humans behave. That's all. They're the only ones, Lance, that don't get jealous. I know. That don't have any resentment.
They're the only ones.
It's just basketball, right?
They're the only ones. Now, this idea that you must protect her at all costs, I'm not a big fan of protectionism and coddling.
You want to be
like
protected.
Well, I think people need to
respect you, certainly.
Yeah, show some respect and not say bad stuff to me, like this one guy who said, STFU, Lance.
Who said that?
You're coming after Stephen A. Smith because you have an agenda.
Who said that?
Just somebody on Twitter who was being rude to me.
And did you need one of us to come to your defense?
No, I just told him to miss me with that BS.
Okay.
Like any regular person would do. 818. I guess what I'm hearing is that the listeners want a lot of Caitlin Clark talk. That's what I'm finding right now. That's what I'm hearing.
Okay.
That's what the streets are saying. YouTube and Twitch are saying, let's get more Caitlin Clark talk.
It seems like that's an unlikely reaction to what we're doing.
That's what the streets are saying. I don't know. I know that what helps it go down is tequila. I need to get some more tequila. I need to get some more. I just had who was it? My man, Coach at Arms on Twitter, Reese, just sent me a picture. He had a bottle of, I think it was the Reposado he had, and a cigar, and he's like, "This is what my weekend's going to be." I said, respect. I love it. You got some cigars and a bottle of tequila. Like, you're doing you this weekend. I know it probably meant he was playing some golf too, because I know that's what he likes to do. But my friends over at Maestro Dobel they want your weekdays, weekends, your birthday parties, your celebrations, just a trip out to a bar. They want it to be filled with Maestro Dobel, because this is a tequila that has been made in Tequila, Mexico. Great care has been taken. It tastes great, always smooth. Never, when I say smooth, it doesn't have the harsh impurities. It's been distilled properly. It has a very easy, it goes down easy, and it has really nice flavor profiles in all the different tequilas. Reposado, the Añejo Extra, the Cristalino, the Humito, which is a smoked silver, and, of course, the silver. So whether you're having cocktails, whether you're having margaritas, or whether you are sipping tequila like a proper gentleman, you are going to experience Maestro Dobel in its finest form every single time you open the bottle. Maestro Dobel, wherever fine liquors are sold. If they don't have it, ask for it by name, Maestro Dobel.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
$8:23 on ESPN 97.5, 92.5. Don't forget, you can catch the show if you missed any of it. Go to the website, ESPN975.com, and go to the podcast section, and we will have segments up on the podcast that you can listen to. You can listen to any of it. John will be back tomorrow, and Dell and Mapes, Mopey and Mapes will be back in its regular time slot tomorrow as well.
Well, and if you are, a person who has an app on your phone as opposed to Lance sending you to the website, you can also listen to the podcast on not Google, but Spotify and Apple Podcasts as well, if you're like a normal person.
Right. If you want to, I guess that's actually true.
Do you go to websites and listen to the podcast? I did
yesterday, actually, to let my son, who is exactly like the intern we had on yesterday, to let him hear him. And Sebastian goes, oh, my gosh, he is exactly like you. By the way, what a blessing yesterday was for me.
Can we go to Tony, because he speaks for me right now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Tony, our friend, Concept Mayhem.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Having YouTubers and Twitchers speak for the listener base is like having Jared from Subway speak for people who like sandwiches.
Okay. Okay. That's fair. But I think we do speak for what the listeners want. And Tony, you're an Iowa guy. You love Caitlin Clark, so don't even try
true.
this.
He is
Don't
biased.
even try this. You're trying to sneak that bias just to see, so I know that you want as much Caitlin Clark talk as possible.
It's better than Ferencz talk.
Our friend Joan says she is the show mom. She says, or show teacher, either one. On his last at bat, Abreu looked completely lost. Never D-list if confidence. Never did lose his. I don't know what that means. 3 straight strikes, the last one swinging at his ankles. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. As a matter of fact, the Astros have been chasing a lot more than they usually do. Let's see. Abreu, McCullers, Jose McCullers, Lance McCullers, Chaz to White Sox for Luis Roberts, some sausage and peppers and a couple pizzas. We're not doing that trade either. Lance, are you watching the HBO show on Renfest? Isn't that the one that you said that?
That's what Michael Carroll recommended during our segment on Friday. He said, I don't know if he recommended it. He gave people the option of watching
That's
it.
the one that we have?
Yes, the Texas Ren Fair.
And that's what this is about?
I believe so, yes.
So it's a full documentary on Renfest.
Yes.
Would that be good, or is it going to be a lot of LARPing? Or is it going to be like, is it going to be good? I watched the Lollapalooza documentary on Prime. It is really good. Really, really good if you get a chance to watch that. At least for people who care about that era of music.
Yeah, Ren Fair is the doc. It'll be on HBO. I watched the 99 doc for the Manchester United season where they won the treble yesterday. It's just 3 episodes. It breaks down what they were going through. Some of the great players of the past obviously were doing it. Sir Alex Ferguson. It's pretty good.
Is Sam say hello to everybody. How's day 2 going so far for you?
It's going fine.
Anything we need to know? Any difficulties that you've learned, gotten through, or that you're having? Because someone's got a complaint.
What's the complaint?
All right. They say the difference in volume level during commercials and the show on the app is out of control today. Not sure what's up.
She doesn't control the levels of the app because sometimes
is Sam screwing something up?
No, I went in there and looked at her levels, and her levels for the recorded stuff that people hear is fine. She's doing fine there. I don't know what the issue is, but it isn't. And we've heard this in the past when she wasn't here, that the app levels are louder than what we hear during the show, than what they hear during the show. So it isn't a Sam problem. I've gotten a text about Sam too. It's a complimentary one. So there's difference.
People can back off.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. I remember Isaiah Thomas. Howard says, I remember Isaiah Thomas freezing out Jordan in the All-Star game. Jealousy is a powerful motivator. Put the young ones in their place. That did happen. Now, how did it turn out for Isaiah Thomas? You don't get a no dream team.
Mm-hmm.
So just remember that, Kennedy or Chinity or whatever, because if you try to make the women's dream team, Caitlin Clark's going to keep your ass on the sideline.
I honestly
forget
think
that.
The willingness or the unwillingness to call some players in the WNBA jealous might have to do with their gender, because because it sounds awful to call, that woman's jealous. No, they're players, and they're competitive players, and sometimes jealousy happens. And let's not pretend that humans don't get to that level at some point for reasons that are pretty obvious. The attention, the money, the notoriety that they didn't receive, even though they've put in their time. That's just how athletes work. It's not about a gender thing, but I do think some people don't want to say jealousy because it's, besides the fact that maybe you're stereotyping the entire player pool, it's like, well, calling women jealous sounds bad.
How much of this is for people is the white savior thing?
You mean on both sides?
Whatever. Well, yeah. I mean, she's great white hope for a lot of people athletically, which is, I don't even know. Like, if you love Lamar Jackson because he's a black quarterback, then you can't be mad at somebody for wanting to see, I guess, a white athlete. I mean, I don't look at it that way, but I know a lot of people do. And I guess I can't be upset if you want to see somebody who looks like you, who's in the minority, because a great player like Clark was in college. We'll see if it's in the pros. If she looks like people that they like, great white hope in boxing years ago, we've had, like, if you're a student of sports and the history of sports, there are these elements all over the place, and at different times and in different eras of our nation's existence, it is a really big deal. We're going through a really weird time. There was just, did you see in Germany where they polled all the German players, and 80% of them said they would rather have more white players on the pitch than there currently are in Germany. And one of the head guys, wasn't it the manager of the German national team, or was it one of the club teams who responded to the poll? No, it was I don't think it was a manager. I thought it was a player who said there's no room for this. This is incredibly racist and yada, yada, yada. But it's just a weird time right now and so I wonder if there are some people who don't like the whole white savior complex, that some people see this as that. It was the German head coach, Julian Nagelsmann, has condemned as racist a recent survey that asked participants if they want to see more white players on the national team. The poll by the ARD public broadcaster said 21% of the respondents agreed with the proposition. He says, it is racist. I feel we need to wake up. So it was the German national team head coach who said the survey was racist to even ask the question. Because but wasn't the answer? Didn't the answers? Wasn't that really high? Apparently the poll said 21% agreed with the proposition. Oh, only 21% agreed. Yeah. Oh, okay. So if the background of German soccer, because they have people who have immigrated to the country, it doesn't look like like you might remember from 1994. Or Jurgen Klinsmann's time. They don't look. In fact, he was one of the people who changed how the German soccer team looked. If it doesn't look like Michael Ballack and Bastian Schweinsteiger, what are we doing? Or Toni Kroos. And Toni Kroos, like that's what German soccer is supposed to look like. Well, except the Boatengs, the Boatengs and others, good Boateng, and Masala's another one. Yeah, it doesn't look like it. And we had to a lesser issue here in America where Jurgen Klinsmann came over after coaching the German national team. He brought that philosophy of grabbing players from around the world who weren't born in this country but had maybe American father or mother. Some of them were the sons of service members, and the team started to look different. You had German-born players playing for the U.S. Like the defenseman who was so big, and Jermaine Jones, who scored a great goal in the World Cup, a midfielder. He was a German-born player, I believe, and American people, some Americans, even some people who played American soccer, like the Ronaldos and others, push back on the notion that, hey, they're not born here. Why are they playing here? Stuff like that. So it doesn't just happen in Europe. It happened here, too. No, and I think it's actually a legitimate discussion. I don't think you just need to start labeling people right away. The German thing is a little different, the way you ask the question. But the idea of, especially with so much globalization and so much immigration and kind of, some would say forced immigration, things like that, there's so much, like the question is, so England went through a period of that. Now it's not as bad, but England has gone through that period. Germany's going through that period now. The U.S. soccer, I remember what you're talking about because I thought, man, it gives you a better chance having these international players. Like, I want to see the U.S. have the best chance of winning right now. Yeah. I remember when there was pushback in the league from, I want to say it was Stephen A. Smith, it was Kenny Smith. There were basketball guys who were pissed off that so many international players were coming into the NBA taking American jobs back in the early 2000s. And I always thought, what in the world? Like, how in the world? This is making if this makes basketball better, who cares? And it was a very protective, jingoistic thing, manner of arguing. And I thought it was strange. I don't know. This has been a melting pot country for so many years. And even though people are self-segregating and more polarized than ever, it's still one of the strengths is that you should be able to get many people together and represent many. I just want a team that's going to win. I like teams that win. Load my team up with Latin American players on baseball. That's when I know I'm going to be good. You know what hurts is when you have just a bunch of Adam Everett's? Yeah. That guy was I don't want to say he's the worst, but he was kind of the worst. It was Bogart and Adam Everett, these no bat, good glove guys. Give me somebody like Jose Siri who will pull some chains out. My favorite player was Cesar Cedeno, so I was a fan of Dominican baseball players growing up. And I use Eric Ronaldo because he's one of the players I remember, but really the guys in question who were doing it specifically was Alexi Lawless, who is a talking head now on I think he might still be on Fox. And many people don't like him. Yeah, many people. Many people. And he also has, his internet his internet stuff that he does too. So yeah, that was a thing here. And just, hey,
the team looks a little different. Maybe they don't take the same pride that we did because they weren't born here, stuff like that. So it's not unique in the world, and maybe as far as the basketball discussion is, I don't know about Great White Hope. I'm not. You tell me, Lance. Is she the Great White Hope?
What, are you kidding me? You can say it. You know she is. Yes.
Well,
Caitlin Clark for some people is a Great White Hope, and I guess that's okay. I understand now that people want somebody who quote unquote looks like them, and this is the same thing in movies. You want representation. This is a representation thing for a lot of people. For me, it's just that she's a badass. If she were Black, Asian, Hispanic, I don't care, and she's draining from 28. She's pulling up from logos. She's taking people off the bounce. She's got the points. I'm watching. I'm watching because she plays different than I'm used to seeing.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna check it out at least for a little bit. So, the Jeremy Lin stuff, the Yao Ming stuff in the league, I thought that was great for basketball to have Asian influence in the league, even if it was relatively short term. That kind of stuff doesn't bother me at all. But it bothers some people. But I also don't click up because a player's white. Like, I don't understand it. But a lot of people
let's go
do.
to your T-shirt. People can't see it. You've got a white man can't jump T-shirt. Are you a Hoyle or a Dean guy? You got both their faces on the T-shirt.
I typically am not a Billy. I grew up as more of a fan of what was his name?
I don't remember his first name.
No, this one.
I don't remember Wesley Snipes' first name in that movie.
Yeah, I don't remember Wesley Snipes' character, but I grew up liking players that were a little flashy. Benny Anders, like he was a stone cold criminal. Lewis Lloyd was one of my favorite basketball players. Drug addict, kicked out of the league. I picked Cesar Cedeno, shot and killed a woman.
Sidney
Dean, yeah. So I typically picked some bad guys as players to emulate, and I try to play kind of like them. But as I grew up, I'm like, Billy Hoyle had it. He understood what he needed to do to win these pickup games. And I just kind of saw some of
Coach's
myself
son?
in Billy Hoyle.
You saw Coach's
I don't
son?
know if he was
Scrappy?
a hustler. He was a hustler. At that time when it came out, I was going to pool halls, but I was not a hustler in pool. Like, I was a guy getting beat, and they would take my money. But I did gamble in the pool halls. I did learn to handicap sports. So I saw Billy Hoyle as, he's kind of a white guy who's got to be smart with the ball.
Mm-hmm.
He's also hustling and gambling. Yeah, maybe that is me more than Sidney Dean is. I wanted to be Sidney Dean, but I couldn't be. So I'll settle for Billy Hoyle. And that White Man Can't Jump is worth watching even today. I'm just not going to watch the one with Post Malone's friend in it. What's his name? Jack Harlow.
Yeah.
I assume their friends are both white rappers.
That's...
All right, 8:37 right here on ESPN 97.5, 92.5. You guys can jump in. We've got a board of calls, so we will do that here next. I do want to mention it's Marry Me Month, so if you're looking to get engaged, now is the time to do that with my friends over at Zadig Jewelers. They have a phenomenal selection of diamond engagement rings from every maker in the world is there. Every company in the world is there in their store. It's 28,000 square feet. They've got a second story that's dedicated completely to engagement rings. They have some downstairs as well. It's amazing to go through it. But did you know when you make a purchase, the more you purchase, the bigger the gift card you get? As a matter of fact, if you purchase an engagement ring for $10,000 or more, they're going to give you $2,000 gift card to use, and why not use it on yourself? It's my good friends over at Zadig Jewelers. They will make your diamond engagement ring special, and she will absolutely love it. Zadig, ZADOK.com, or go to 1801 Post Oak Boulevard.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
8:41 here on, man, we're almost up to a break. You need to start minding your business. Let's get to
Oh, it's my fault. Okay.
let's get to call 713-780-3776. Who's first up, Dale?
Let's go with Underrated Mess. What's up, Underrated Mess?
Hey, good morning, fellas. I just wanted to kind of comment on the gentleman that couldn't control his volume and put into perspective for Sam, no matter how it's going for her. I remember a few years back when the balance of the show, Dell couldn't make it in for whatever reason, and phony John Granato of the People and ADHD Lance are stuck to produce. So you can imagine the shenanigans that happened then. So that was a great time.
By the way, it's ADD. It's not H. I'm not hyper. So take me off the ADHD.
He's certainly not
list.
hyper.
Yeah, I'm ADD.
He's much more lackadaisical than hyper.
Yeah. I remember all those times that me and John always had to run the show. Dale, do you remember all
It
those
happened a
great
couple
times?
times because of weather or traffic or whatever sometimes.
You need to move in. Stop being an hour and a half away.
One time my car just simply died and there was no chance of getting in. So it's happened, and you guys were predictably terrible at it.
We were struggling.
No surprise. So anytime
Sam, you're doing great.
You're doing great.
You're doing average, Sam. Good job.
Oof.
Think average?
No, I mean,
No,
that's good.
No,
That's good.
no. She doesn't know where it is, but you insulted her a little bit. A little out of order.
Doing average is great.
She doesn't know where that soundbite is, but you're disrespectful.
She's getting better.
Don't stop. Well, you said average.
Yeah.
You said good and then average.
Average is, I rethought it. So just
A reevaluation.
Yeah, average is like, okay, just like, right?
What?
In Houston, it'd be like an 86-degree day average. Not that 40-degree day that you heard on the wire.
Baltimore,
For us,
yeah.
it's like 86-degree day with high
He's
humidity,
saying
high dew point.
it's not great. It's a little annoying, but it's okay. Because that's
I didn't say annoying.
That's what an 86-degree
No,
day is
Dale's
here.
saying
All right,
No,
you're an 80.
don't say
an 82-degree day.
Yeah, that's still
86
humid.
is a little hot.
You get a little sweaty.
All right, 78, but
Yeah,
high
there it
humidity.
is. There it is. 78-degree
But
day.
a
An
dew
average
point
day
in
in
the
Houston.
70s.
I'll take it.
Yeah. See? Del, not everyone has to be. It doesn't have to be hyperbole constantly. Let's get.
Let's go with Pena. He wants to talk Astros.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
What's up, Pena?
Just a typical season. How the Astro season going? We lose our MVP, guys. It's sad. Another sad season, man. But hey, I wanted to get to y'all since y'all both like shows. Y'all both like Power. Are y'all gonna check out the new season on Friday? Because y'all remind me so much of Power of the first series of Ghost and Tommy. But best friends. I just admire y'all's relationship, man. Y'all have a great day.
Which one of us is Tommy? Do you think you're Tommy, or do you think you're
Tommy.
Ghost?
Ghost.
You think you're the leader? You're
Yeah,
Ghost.
I'm
Okay.
Ghost. You're Tommy.
We're nothing alike. Tommy was a wild card. I'm not a wild card.
No, you're not a wild card.
No,
You're pretty.
I'm not. I haven't watched an episode of Power since probably the end of season 3. So I haven't watched any of these spinoffs either. So I'm probably not going to watch it. Pena. It just missed me. I don't even have Stars.
That's all Stars is now. Is just Power
and Power Book and Book of Cain and all that stuff. So I don't have it, Pena. So that's one reason I wouldn't watch. I've been out on Power and its spinoffs for a while now. The Astros, by the way, what he's referencing as far as an MVP is Kyle Tucker was injured in the game yesterday. It isn't going to be a long-term injury as far as there's no broken bones, certainly no ligaments. It's about pain tolerance, and he was in pain. The contusion is going to be a problem. Lance has predicted 4 games he's going to miss.
Mm-hmm. He's got a bone bruise. Kyle Tucker fouled a ball off his shin, and he did not like it at all, and had a hard time staying on putting any weight on his feet. It looked pretty bad at the time. Very happy he got out of there with, you lose your MVP candidate, but only for a short time. I don't think it's going to be long term, but I also don't think it's going to be just one game. I think it may last a little while until he can put the amount of weight on it he needs to transfer weight and hit the ball successfully. So, although it is one of those things, I don't expect him to re-injure it necessarily. So, I think it's just going to be a basic road to recovery. So we'll see how we'll see how that happens. We're going to break it here. Get back on schedule, as it were. I'll let Dell tell you about plumbing issues.
Oh, you're just going to let me do it as opposed to what you normally do.
I can help.
It's scoff. No, you generally scoff at me
No.
having.
Not Aqueduct. They're a great company.
No, not Aqueduct. Me actually talking about Aqueduct.
You probably have plumbing problems,
I
too.
certainly do. I went up to the attic a couple weeks ago and said, "Oh, that water heater is going to need to be replaced." And you know who you call for that? Aqueduct Plumbing. I talk a lot about the repiping, but they take care of other issues as well. If you want to call them, it's 281-488-6238, 281-488-6238. And that number is important because they give you the best free price quotes in town. So it doesn't have to be a giant issue. It could be a smaller one, but anytime there's a water issue in your home, it could turn into a disaster really, really quickly. You don't want any leaks. And if you do have a piping issue, you know what bad pipes do to you? It gives you dirty, nasty, unclean water. You don't want that for your home, whether you're washing dishes or, hell, taking a bath or a shower. Dirty water's not perfect for that. So Aqueduct Plumbing will take care of you there. And the best part about them are they're local. They're local contractors who are going to take care of the local customer, and they're experts in their trade as well. So whether it be the repiping or you got a leak, or you just want to change out a faucet, Aqueduct Plumbing Company is there for you. Go to aqueductplumbingcompany.com. That's aqueductplumbingcompany.com.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
8:50. We had some calls. I like it. I like that you guys are doing your thing. 713-780-3776. Very, very quickly, just a couple of stories we have not gotten to. Remember when everyone in Houston was screaming about the Astros adding Blake Snell? And why are you not adding Blake Snell? Just pay Blake Snell. He signed a 2-year, $62 million deal with the Giants. And, well, he's injured now. He's only pitched in 6 games this year. He has never finished the 5th inning in any of his games, and it has been a disaster of a signing. 2 years, $31 million a year. That just do anything, yeah, Jim Crane wins again, because that looks like a really, really bad signing right now. He's only appeared in 6 games this season, has yet to pitch 5 full innings in any of the games.
Yeah, I heard him a couple weeks ago talk about his lack of preparation, and that
because he was sitting on the sideline.
That's what I'm saying. It affected his ability to not only pitch but go deeper in the games because he just hasn't had the time, and he just got thrown in there, and you've seen the effects of it where he's been below his normal performance, and now he's injured. So sometimes not doing anything is the best move. And we heard, I think, is when we found out that Craig Biggio was involved in decision making. Reggie Jackson was on one of the MLB shows discussing Blake Snell, among other things, with the Astros, and talked about their reasoning for not bringing him in, and that reasoning appears to be sound because it's been rough, and the Giants, they won't ever come out and say it, but at least for the immediate aftermath of the signing, they got to regret it.
We got to regret it, and this is why I'm not a huge fan of just do something. I'm not a fan of that mentality. John and I have had arguments for years about that. Just do anything, do something. Do something typically ends in a bad free agent move. It ends in overpaying, and it's not good for team building. Do something, just do anything, do something. It's just not. You have to think. You just, as much as we're going to get frustrated, pay that man, Jim. Pay Correa his money. He's having a great playoff series. Jim Crane and the Astros have made smart decisions for the most part. Now, when they got rid of the smarter guys and they started doing dumb baseball stuff like Abreu and Montero's 3-year deal, and I don't care that Montero's pitching better this year, it was never not a bad contract to give a 3-year deal with that much money to a guy who's not even he's not even a closer. And I understand that your bullpen is important and all that. That's just not it was not a good baseball deal. But for the most part, the Astros have been they've gotten away with being fiscally responsible. And so we may get frustrated, and I'm frustrated just like everyone else. But in the back of my mind, I'm also honest enough to say Jim Crane's idea of being fiscally responsible has also served this organization well. And it's things like that to keep you from panicking and signing Blake Snell, who hadn't had any preseason action basically at all, signing him to a $62 million deal where the guy's been a zero this year and probably will be a zero for them. 6 games total. He's going on the injured list, and he hasn't even finished 5 innings. I mean, come on. That's terrible. Let's get Charlie in Cyprus in here. What's up, Charlie?
Hey, good morning, guys.
What's
up?
You hear me?
Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, okay. Hey, I just wanted to talk about soccer real quick. And no offense to anyone or, the Sam or anything, but I just don't get why y'all don't talk about, y'all talk about the WNBA, and honestly, I don't think a lot of people care, to be honest. I feel like it doesn't matter to me. I mean, I get that the media wants to make it a big deal about this whole Phoenix Clark thing, but who cares? Anyways, the Copa America is coming up this month. The Euro Cup is coming up. The Copa America is being held this year. Messi's here, the greatest soccer player in history, and I feel like y'all don't even show no love to soccer. Like, what's up with that?
Well, because
mostly Dell.
Blame me. What was up with it is beyond you calling it about it, we don't get calls about that either.
No.
So we mentioned, I don't know if we actually.
John and I were both at that match between
Messi and Argentina and U.S.
Yeah, where you needed 45 seconds to realize how badly outclassed the U.S. was.
Yeah.
We were actually at that match. I think it's one of those. I like going to those matches, Charlie. I just don't know that everyone wants to talk about them. Like, You say that about Caitlin Clark in the WNBA, but I'm just saying I don't see anything about Copa America on anything media-wise, and that's not to disparage it. We just have to go more mainstream with the topics. But I have respect for it. Trust me, I have a lot of respect for it.
Yeah, because I feel like I got a lot of minorities in here in Houston, like Hispanics, Europeans, Middle Eastern. They all love soccer, and I feel like I mean, that's a big miss. That's a big miss right there.
I would say when
I guess maybe it's just me. I don't know.
Well, Charlie, when Copa America actually happens, I mean, we are weeks away. So when we actually have games to talk about, I'm sure the U.S. is in Copa America, so it'll be a discussion point at least a little bit on my show. But I mean, this show probably isn't at a position where we're going to preview Copa America group stages.
Soccer is still going to be niche for a niche conversation for radio. That's just now once World Cup comes up and we're here in Houston, it's going to be, and I think the U.S. team is going to be pretty good.
Hope so.
So I think it will be a little different. How good do you think they'll be?
Well, the Berhalter thing is always going to be hanging over the squad.
What's that supposed to mean, the Berhalter thing?
He's probably not a manager that you think you should expect to be a world-class manager when it comes to shepherding a team through a big tournament like that.
How are they talent-wise?
They're going to be, as long as they're healthy, the talent they're going to have is a team when you include the home country bump, should be a team that at least gets to a quarterfinal, at least has a chance at it. By the time that rolls around, I'm just not sure the manager will have set them up in a way tactically and positionally where they're going to be a good bet. This is a team who always finds a way to scrape and claw through the group stage, get to a second round, and then we see the distance between themselves in really tactically and the best, not even the best teams in the world, just the team you're going to have to face in the second round. Talent-wise, by the time it comes around, they should be in a spot where a quarterfinal isn't out of the realm of possibility, and if you catch a couple breaks, maybe get to a semifinal. We'll see. But yeah, Copa America doesn't begin until June 20th, so that's a couple weeks away. Charlie, I'm just telling you, we're probably not a show who's going to give you a 2-week lead up into Copa America talk. The U.S. is in it, so those games will be discussed, and certainly the Euros during the summer come up as well. But hey, those are weeks away now.
Look at this. Sam is already 3 times better than Dell.
That's fine with me.
We've got Sam greater than RJ, greater than Dell.
Well, is that on Twitch or YouTube?
We got to let Sam cook a little bit more before. It's on Twitch, but they hate you.
Yeah, so that's why I'm asking the question. We do have questions from Twitter about Sam. Art, who always asks the insightful questions, he's asking, do Sam and her mom wear Golden Goose shoes?
I don't feel like Sam is Sam's not a Golden Gooser.
What do you mean by Golden Goose?
You know those shoes, Golden Goose? Do you know them?
Oh, no, I don't know.
The one that look like they're beat-tail. It looks like somebody's worn them for 7 years. You know, Golden Goose. And then you pay way too much money for them.
No, I agree. I'm not going to pay that much money.
I will say this. It is something that my people do where they like to beat things up and they tear things up and make it look super old and then charge you 5 times the amount. Doesn't make sense to me. I don't do it.
Your people love the distressed look on their clothes.
What about holes in jeans?
That's what people think too. That's actually all
that's
people.
Everybody.
That's everybody.
That. Yeah.
Everyone does that. What about acid wash? Acid wash jeans. Who invented that in the 80s? Probably white moms.
I don't know if it's white moms, but maybe white
soccer
people.
moms or
soccer moms.
High hip jeans. Who invented that?
High waisted?
Yeah, high waisted jeans.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that.
Who invented low waist jeans? Influencers. Instagram models.
The low waisted were around in the aughts. Like Britney Spears was wearing low waisted jeans. She wasn't an influencer back then. That wasn't a thing back then.
Well, but she was nasty. She even said that. Her songs, whatever her songs.
I thought
she said something.
Christina Aguilera was the one who was the nasty one.
They were the same.
Then Britney.
You had
responded.
Those 3. You had Jessica Simpson.
Yes.
And then Jessica broke into a different category.
Mandy Moore was around for a little bit too.
Mandy Moore has actually turned into a good actress.
She's an actress, yeah.
She's a good actress on This Is Us. She was actually very good.
I haven't watched an episode of This Is Us.
Yeah, you'd like it, Del. Grown people cry. There's a black guy that's adopted into a
why
white
is that?
family.
Why does that matter
I'm
to
saying,
me?
It's kind of like,
why are you mentioning
I'm
that
just
to
saying,
me?
maybe you would.
That's not my life. I wasn't adopted into a white family.
No, you weren't. But you were taken to Las Vegas by your dad.
That's not the same. Me and Sterling K. Brown, his character on that show, don't have that many similarities.
Have your parents ever taken you to Las Vegas?
No, but I went gambling in Oklahoma.
You did?
It's not the same.
Did you win?
Nope.
You did.
I lost.
Did you gamble while you were on your volleyball team, making it illegal and
I don't know.
Actually,
suspending?
gambling's illegal at my college.
Gambling in general.
So I had to do it on the down.
Well, not anymore. You told everybody.
No. I like that you have
Well,
some
I'm
edge
out
like
now.
that.
Yeah.
I like that you have some edge like that.
I think you need to answer for comparing me to the black guy on this.
I haven't finished spitballing that.
Okay.
Sterling K.
Sterling K.
Brown.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good compare. I compared
It's
you
not
to
a-
a guy.
His character is nothing like mine.
You've never watched it.
I never grew up in a white family. That should be the entry point to whether we're alike or not.
He likes Alanis Morissette. He likes Paramore.
You're
You're
making
saying he's whitewashed?
You're making all of this up. You don't know that he likes.
That's not true because
Paramore wasn't a thing.
That was set. Yeah, it was set in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
and 90s.
You know, it is a thing. You keeping us from going to break all the time.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's a thing.
Well, what
all
you
right.
should be talking about is me being the underdog.
I know Underdog Fantasy is something that, look, we've got the NBA Finals getting ready to start cooking. And so who are you going to play on the high and the low? You've got yourself, what we're going to be watching is a hotly contested playoff series. And so one of the things I'm going to tell you is I think Boston, with all this time, is going to really find a way to limit Luka's touches. I think the athletes and the length they have, they're going to really be up on him. So for the first game, I'm going to suggest that maybe you play lower than the point totals for Luka Doncic. It's going to be high, and I think it's lower. I think Boston will take the ball out of his hands. Now, if you sign up with promo code Lance, they're going to give you a special mystery pick for your first deposit when you make your first deposit. And that mystery pick is basically an easy winner where you get to play higher than some like 0.5 minutes played for Luka or something simple like that. And you're going to have a winner. So now all you have to do is find another winner. You can do as few as 2 players together on the pick'em, or you can do as many as 5. Now, if you use the Scorchers, which are the little chili peppers that are next to some of the stats, and you decide to play that, it is going to increase the payout. And you can go as high as 100 times your original play. It's real money. It's completely legal here in the state of Texas. And I'll be honest, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to mix and match your baseball right now with your basketball and then watch along. Play along with what you're watching. It makes it more fun, and it can make it much more profitable. It's Underdog Fantasy. That's UnderdogFantasy.com. Download the app today. Use promo code Lance. Must be 18 or older and present in the state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms and conditions apply. If you feel like you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-GAMBLER or go to ncpgambling.org.
Well, Lance and I have decided the final hour of the show will be a Copa America preview.
Yeah.
We're going to break down Argentina, Canada
It's
first.
what the people named Charlie are asking for.
Mm-hmm. Messi's already been recalled by the Argentinian national team.
People
so
don't
that's
like
excited.
that I'm comparing you to Sterling K. Brown. They
Yeah.
say put some respect on Sterling K. Brown's name.
That's fine, but you're not even comparing me to Sterling K. Brown. You're comparing me to his character in a TV show.
I think you would have done well in that family.
Why?
Well, they just seem like the kids are all screwed up, but it seemed like the mom and dad were good until the dad got whacked.
So if they couldn't have, so would I have been screwed up, or would I have been to overcome their parenting? Would I have done that?
No, I think the mom was good. Mandy Moore's character, she's the mom.
So-
they age her really well.
So how come the kids were all screwed up?
I don't know. They just were.
Would I have been screwed up too?
Nah, you don't care enough to get screwed up.
Emotions wouldn't affect me.
You don't run high and low.
What's that?
You're just like a midfielder in soccer who, since this is a soccer segment, you're like that midfielder. You're like Idrissa Gana Gueye, who I have at Everton. He's just steady. Not gonna do anything that's too great. Won't hurt you. He's just steady.
Oh, what's mom and dad are going through marital problems? I'll just close the door. I don't need to deal with that.
Yeah, that's all it is.
Just close the door.
You're like Spencer Arrighetti right now. Just steady. He pitches today.
He's pitched pretty well recently.
He pitches today. Yeah, he pitches. We'll see how he does today. All right, 713-780-3776. I'll let you call it, Dale.
Let's go with Will. He's been holding the longest. What's up, Will?
Hey, good morning, y'all. Big fan of the show. Been a long-time listener. So, yeah, I want to piggyback off that last caller who was talking about Copa America. So I kind of second what he's talking about. Pretty exciting time. You know, we're a couple years out from the World Cup. So essentially the Copa America host cities, Houston being one of them, is kind of a nice appetizer to what we anticipate being a pretty successful 2026 World Cup, especially with the first year being the expanded format from 32 to 48 teams. But I'm calling because, so I'm a dual national, have U.S. citizenship, but also I'm an Argentinian citizen. So there's a lot of pride at hand at the moment. And Argentina should be the favorites, reigning World Cup champs. But Uruguay is coming in with a really strong team. I would imagine that they're going to win the group. And unfortunately, the U.S. finds themselves in that group as well. So I believe within the U.S.'s group, it'll probably be Uruguay. And then it's probably going to be a battle for second between USA and Panama. So that's probably the most notable match of that. But the U.S.'s goal, they have a really good shot to get out of the group. I believe they finished second. And also there is a chance that Messi's going to be in Houston. Actually, I would say a high probability here on July 4th, the quarterfinals that Energy's hosting. So I went ahead and bought those tickets. They weren't insanely expensive, but if Argentina win Group A, which they're favored to, they'll play the runner-up of Group B. So you heard it here first.
Here's a question for you, Will. Are you still there?
Yes.
All right. You say Copa America. You say Uruguay. But then you just said Argentina and you said Panama instead of Panama. How come we are picking and choosing? See, yeah. If we're going to do all the way, we got to go all the way with it.
He's switching between
you
words.
Can't
what are you
code
doing?
switch on us.
Panama.
Will, how would you say?
Panama.
Will, how would you say Argentina
Panama.
normally? How would you say it normally?
I would say, Argentina.
There it is. There it is. That's fine. We welcome it.
That's all.
And trust, Will, at some point when Copa America, look, we're not. I'll just tell you now, we're not experts. We have a guy, Glenn Davis, who will talk about it in a more in-depth fashion leading up to it. But once the games start, we will talk about it. I mean, I don't know how much Lance will give it to you, but we will talk about it once the games start.
Don't worry about it.
Okay, sure.
No, I appreciate it. But I think most importantly, the matches that Houston is hosting, the first, I think, is Mexico-Jamaica. Should be a pretty good game. I'm not going to it myself just because the Mexicans typically are a little bit more rowdy than some of the other fans. But that should be a sellout. Anytime Mexico plays at NRG, it's a sellout. I'm going to the Colombia-Paraguay game, which is June 24th on a Monday. And then the quarterfinal match that I anticipate Argentina will play the runner-up.
How many of these matches are here?
There are three. NRG got three.
Okay.
Mexico, Jamaica, Colombia, Paraguay, and then the quarterfinal, which they call 1A, which is the winner of Group A, versus 2B, the runner-up of Group B, which could potentially be Mexico. And Argentina and Mexico, there's no love lost between those two countries. So I can imagine, and that's going to be on July 4th, right, on Independence Day, 7 o'clock at NRG. So that's going to be quite the atmosphere.
Yeah, it's one of the more underrated rivalries in all of soccer. The fact they've seen each other in World Cups, and Mexico's been in Copa Americas before too. So that's one to watch. Will, we appreciate it, man. Yeah, I'll be watching, and certainly I love the Euros too, and they'll be this summer.
What is Leagues Cup?
Well.
I bought tickets to Tigres versus Inter Miami.
Leagues Cup is the Mexican domestic league against the U.S. Against MLS.
Okay,
and they play each other. Appreciate that call, Will. We got a couple more before we go to break. Let's go to. I'm assuming that's a fake Ryan. Maybe it's Frank Ryan. But what's up, Ryan?
Ryan, you there?
Yellow.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, to the last two callers, there's a show called Soccer Matters with Glenn Davis. He's far more intelligent than you guys, and I don't know why we waste time on soccer. Also, I just wanted to say, let's talk about more important things. Lance used to poop in a bucket of popcorn, right? Which popcorn bucket do you like better, Dune or the one with the Wolverine face on it? And then hashtag WNBA over soccer.
Hang up on this.
Thanks.
See, Sam, this is not how radio's supposed to go.
This is how my show goes.
That's not how radio's supposed to go. Okay? That's not how radio, if you start doing radio, that's not how you want it to go.
I actually enjoy
Sometimes that will go like that. Yeah, I'd like it, but that doesn't make it right. That's not how radio, that's not what I want to teach her.
He did some programming for us. He let people know if you want more intensive soccer coverage. I mentioned it already, but Glenn Davis has Soccer Matters. You can call that show. And what else did he say about your pooping in a bucket thing?
Bucket of popcorn.
Have you seen the Deadpool Wolverine popcorn bucket?
No, but I did finally see the Dune one. Then that looks like should be illegal.
Okay. Not sold to kids?
That looks like it should not be sold to kids. No, what's the Wolverine Dune, Deadpool one?
I'm going to show it to you. You can make your determination about whether you would like to use that as a bucket.
This is a popcorn bucket?
Yes. You have two different versions. You have... What is that? That's where you stick your hand. The popcorn can come out of the mouth.
Wait.
What are you doing?
Damn it, I just
what?
rolled over my headphones.
Well, now Lance is stuck. That's the other thing, Sam. Don't follow Lance's lead when it comes to
Yeah,
professionalism as far as headphones are concerned.
No, I'm an unorthodox host.
Yes. I see one.
I don't want popcorn. I like popcorn. I reach over the top.
Yeah.
Not the one that comes out of
That's
the
weird.
mouth.
Of a comic book character. Hey, interns, we don't have a name for the person on line 2, so we'll get to that person when we come back. We are almost done, and Sam has been great today. You have been less so, but Sam's been good on
I've been
the
okay.
on
I
the
give
show
myself
today.
an A-.
It's a little high.
Not an A+.
That's a little high for you.
Lance, you're doing average.
Ooh.
I mean, it is what it is.
You gave her, that's an
if
appropriate
I'm doing average,
grade
I'm
for
doing
her.
average.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know people have been contentious about the soccer calls. You guys can call in and change the subject.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty clear. You want to talk about something else?
You see what happens? Soccer's taking over, and that guy knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
And he said Paraguay and Uruguay.
He was an American.
And then Argentina.
He was Americanizing it.
He thought he had to do it for us.
In some ways for us, and then he wasn't in other ways. Well, be yourself, buddy. Just say it like you would normally say it.
I say churro. I don't say churro.
Churro.
And I got in trouble one time for, you don't have to try to act so.
You mean your
being
daughter?
so performative. No. Some caller one time I said churro, but that's how it
sounds.
It's only a Spanish. That's not an English word. It's only Spanish. It's a Spanish dessert, and it's 2 R's. You say churro. You hit that double R. You don't say churro because that's a single R.
No, Jason, we have not discussed or given out Sam's IG account. And don't say yet. We're not giving it out.
No.
We're not giving it out.
Put some respect on Sam's
name.
Look at the look on Sam's face like these pigs. She's talking about you and Jason.
I'm not the one who's giving it out. I don't even know what it is. He's asking about it.
You're not going to worry about it. You'll just get a lot of bump, set, spike is what you're going to get. Volleyball.
I don't know.
Because Sam, we got a almost professional volleyball player. Just came up a little short because of a knee injury. That's how I tell the story.
She's a knee injury away?
Knee injury away. It's Mike me. Shoulder injury away from greatness. some sort.
Of some sort. It wasn't going to be basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be something. Don't worry about it. 9:16. Let's just take this break and see what happens when we come back. 713-780-3776.
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
All right. I'm telling Switch the popcorn story. It takes a little while.
They don't know it?
Nah, so I'm telling, but it'll take a little while. That's why I'm power typing over here.
Yeah, Lance was loud typing for the entire break.
Hey, I got a really sweet email yesterday. Super excited about this. It was from my insurance company.
Doesn't sound great.
And it said, hey, Lance, check out the attachment below. I'm like, what is this? And it said, hey, just want to let you know we received your liability property damage claim, and we're beginning our investigation. If we need more information in the future to complete our investigation, we'll let you know. But thanks for everything. And I'm like, my what? And then I look at insurer, policyholder, Lance Zierlein. Claim it, Trinity Fields. Claim number, lost date, April 28th. And I said, okay. I'm policyholder and they're claimant, and it's April 28th. This is a false, like, I had to check email address to make sure it wasn't maybe the Nigerian prince had gotten slick and found other ways to do it, or whatever, somebody who's trying to tell me my computer is broken and I got to call a number, or the Geek Squad. These are all normal ones.
That's a storyline in that new Jason Statham movie, Beekeeper, where some woman who's put him up in like her farm shed, she lets him use the property. She gets duped out of all her money because someone's infiltrated your computer, you need our help, and then they just drain her bank accounts and she commits suicide, and then he goes on a mission to kill all the scam artists.
That's what that is?
Yes.
Oh my God, because
I thought
watched
that movie sucked.
It was terrible.
It sounds like it's not good. And the other thing is, I've gone on YouTube rabbit holes where guys who actually scam the scammers.
I've seen that.
It's phenomenal.
Yeah, where they have people in the area and they find their address, and they like where the I guess the troll farm is located, and then they get into their scam farm, and then they get
cameras in,
and
there.
then they get into their own those people's computers' cameras, and they go, "Hey, is a certain such and such working there right now?" And the guy's like, "What? How do you know my name?"
Yeah,
and they just rip them to shreds. But in this one, Jason Statham just kills people.
Just goes out and kills scammers.
Yes, he just kills all of them.
You didn't like it, Sam?
It's a bad movie.
No, it sucked.
It didn't look like it's great.
not.
I'll be honest.
It's called-
Jason Statham's best work to me was when he was a Guy Ritchie. I haven't loved. He's okay for an action hero. Like he's got he talks like this and he's got that going for him. Right?
The Beekeeper's the name of the movie.
Yeah,
it's not good.
Well, I googled Trinity Fields and I'm like, basketball player at North Carolina Charlotte. No. Oh, basketball player from that's a female player. Then there's a men's player, and then I saw another one, and I was like, she goes to University of Alabama, Tuscaloosa. I'm like, damn it.
It's your boy.
Yeah, my son. And I said, did you not tell us about something like this? He goes, I barely even touched her. Police were right there, and I guess they wrote a report.
What?
He said, I barely touched it. There's no visible damage. I said, did you take pictures? He said, no.
Oh, you said I barely touched it.
Touched her, the car, boom.
Oh, because
he's the one that kind of. So my son Alec hit. I guess bumped into her car or something, and now there's a claim.
Yeah, because you say I barely touched her, it makes it sound like
no, I didn't say that. I just talked fast.
Yeah, I barely.
He barely touched her car.
Okay, there it is.
His car barely touched her car, is what he's telling us, and there should be no damage. And I said, did you take photos? No, because kids are dumb.
Yeah,
you have to tell them literally
everything.
Especially boys. Boys are hella dumb. They're just so stupid. My son's just, and I realized, I said, okay, maybe I was like that. Maybe I didn't have common sense, but they don't think at all. They are so stupid. Never have a son, Sam. Never, you either, Del. Don't have a son because they're too stupid.
Don't worry.
Anyway, so now I got to see how this whole thing plays out. So that was a pretty cool email, and Alex like, oh, I don't do it.
And he didn't decide to tell you that he
no,
was
of
in
course
an
not.
accident?
He tried to keep it quiet. He didn't think anything would come from it.
Until Trinity Fields got his information
and
made a claim.
Yeah, until Trinity went after him. So real quickly, the hardest colleges to get into.
Okay. Just overall?
How many Texas colleges do you think are in here?
How long is the list? Is it a top 20, top 15?
It is a top 25.
How many Texas schools are on the list? I don't want to be insulting because I feel like the Northeast is going to get a lot of them.
Northeast is heavily represented.
Yes, and then you got to think about Stanford to the west.
The top 3 are west.
Is Cal on the list?
Cal is.
Is there? Are they in the
Cal
top 3?
Institute of Technology? It's just Cal, right? Yeah.
No, I'm talking about Cal Berkeley.
Oh, wait, that's right. Cal Berkeley separate. Yeah, Cal Berkeley's got to be in here somewhere. Wait. No, Cal Berkeley's not even in.
So is Stanford? Who are the top 3 from the West? Stanford?
Minerva University.
Okay.
1% get in. California Institute of Technology, and then Stanford.
Okay.
And then after that is Harvard, then MIT, then Columbia. So you think about this, the hardest to get into, Minerva, Cal Institute, Stanford, Harvard, MIT, Columbia University, Princeton University, Yale University, Brown University, UPenn. These are the hardest to get into. And I don't know if they mean like from if it's because of encampments and getting to the door of the university.
I think they mean acceptance.
Okay,
rate.
you think it's acceptance?
Yeah,
you don't
I don't
think,
think
it's
it
just
means
encampments?
protesters blocking the doors to entry.
Oh, see, that's what I thought they meant hardest to get into.
No, I know the state.
Because I thought you couldn't get through
No, I
all
know the state of education's in
Oh,
a weird
okay.
spot right now,
See,
but no.
Then this is okay. I thought it was
but there
encampments.
is no.
And, it's hard to get to the door and through
People
the door.
are chaining themselves to the door. No. So there are Texas schools on the list.
There's only one.
Is it UT?
I would have thought it was because I know UT is very hard to get into, but no, it's not UT.
It's a smaller school.
Uh-huh.
Christian?
Well, relatively smaller.
Is it a Christian school?
I'd say no.
It ain't A&M, is it?
Nope. My
What?
wife, who's a Longhorn, likes that's a diploma mill.
What, this
Longhorn
school?
haters. No, A&M.
Oh, A&M. Oh.
And A&M's getting
So
harder
what's-
to get into, too.
What's the name of
It's
the school?
Rice.
Of course. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, Rice.
Rice. There it is. Yeah.
Rice.
Makes sense,
So, not SWAGU.
unfortunately.
It's not HCU, which has gone from HBU
They've
to be
changed
more
it, yes.
inclusive.
Yes, any Christian can.
Yeah,
Any Christian
not
is
just
welcome.
Baptist.
Any Christian is
Not
welcome
just
at our
Baptist.
school.
You see my man Lance Berkman is stepping down?
Yeah, I tweeted.
over there?
I put the story in our group chat. Lance McCullers stepping down.
Not McCullers.
Lance
Berkman.
Berkman.
McCullers stepping down from pitching to just do full-time
Lance
coffee.
Lance McCullers not working. Big surprise.
Yeah.
If that was real.
And now
Lance
Lance Berkman's not going
stepping down from his managerial job at HCU.
Mm-hmm. HCU.
Man don't want to be on that grind anymore,
All right,
apparently.
9:20. No, maybe it's just too hard to win there.
Probably the case.
I don't think you could bet on that. You can go to my bookie. I don't think you could bet on HCU baseball games, though.
Yeah, well, currently they're not playing, so it's certainly not the case. But you can probably bet on the NCAA baseball tournament at mybookie.ag. You know, softball's going on as well, so if you want to bet on the Women's College World Series, you can do that too. Because the tagline means what it says. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime. That's what MyBookie provides. So if you're in a sports betting and you need something to get you to the finals, because we're still a couple days away from that, hell, the hockey finals, the Stanley Cup finals are still a couple days away. There are things to do on MyBookie from MLB. Maybe you like Spencer Argetti tonight, you can take your chances there. And the promo code is BET975. That promo code allows you a sign-up bonus, and even if you're an existing customer, you're coming back, they provide a bonus as well. A first deposit bonus of up to $1,000 if you're new, and if you want to go beyond the sports betting, they have the live casino, the table games. They will have dealers dealing you the cards. So if you don't like some of the virtual aspect of online poker or blackjack, MyBookie takes care of you. There's a community there as well. Just go to mybookie.ag to check it all out, from the slots, the live casino, the table games, and of course, betting on your favorite sports. Bet on anything, anywhere, anytime with MyBookie.
You wrote the lyrics to this?
Broadcasting live from the Veritex Community Bank Studios, it's John and Lance.
On ESPN 97.5 and 92.5.
Now here's John Granato and Lance Zierlein.
No, John. He ends his vacation today. He'll be back tomorrow. Everything goes back to normal with the lineup starting tomorrow when John gets back. We want to thank Sam for helping us out throughout the last couple of days. Appreciate her for doing that. Lance, Tank Dell has spoken about his off-season run-in with, a party that led to him being shot. He was on the $1 Million Worth of Game podcast with CJ. CJ was there as well. There's a lot of content you can grab from that, but Tank pretty much just laid it out, and it's pretty predictable. He went back to see his mom. We do know that. Tank's from Daytona Beach, and he was just going to hang out, but his boys said, hey, we got a party. You want to come to it? He goes, yeah, I'll go. And they told him there's going to be security there, people getting checked. And obviously he thought, okay, that's a place I can be. And then for people who've seen the video, a fight occurred, and then a young kid, teenager, pulled out a gun and started kind of firing at anyone who was in the area. And Tank was unfortunately hit with a bullet. We know the story. Out of the hospital within hours, he's back. And he kind of just said, just sometimes maybe I can't go back as much as or to places I want to go because things are different now. And CJ said when he heard the news, he just dropped his phone. But we know it all turned out well.
He said tear it up too, right?
Yeah, tear it up, dropped his phone. Couldn't, you can't believe something like that would happen. Tank said he thought he removed himself from the situation, but then he got into the middle of two people and it just went crazy. And so says sometimes I can go home where I'm comfortable, but maybe certain places I can't be at anymore. So we'll see. He called it an eye opener. And it's really something. Well, CJ called an eye opener and said it's really just not only Tank for all athletes, something to consider. Maybe home isn't always the best place to go if you are going to be out in public. And this had nothing to do with Tank. He just happened to be at a spot where things went squirrely, and he suffered the consequences. Thankfully, it wasn't something long term.
Yeah, it's just unfortunately, I think the thing with young people now is just. There's become so much gun violence where people just pop off. Like it's not just going to be fist fights. Somebody's going to have a strap with them, at least one and maybe two, and they're not afraid to shoot things up. We know that the Kansas City, the big Kansas City Chiefs victory celebration, the big parade that they had, you just had two groups that didn't like the way each other were looking at. They didn't like the way that one group was looking at them, and they pulled out guns and started shooting, and people ended up dead. I mean, if that's how it is now, you're just going to have to really, really be careful where you are. But like Tank Dell said, it just out of nowhere it started happening. That's the problem is somebody really famous is going to get clipped by an incident like that. Somebody's going to we've seen it already, but I mean somebody really, really big. It's going to happen to them at some point at a pool party, at a club, at wherever, a road rage incident, something's going to happen. You just kind of know it's just a matter of time, unfortunately. Did you have anything else?
Well, we've got some breaking news.
Uh-oh.
Padres, Tucupita Marcano has been banned for life for betting.
Banned for life from baseball.
Yeah. It seemed to be placed hundreds of bets on baseball, including wagers on games involving the Pirates when he was with the team last season. So Ohtani avoided it because, his interpreter did it all. Translator did it all. Marcano doesn't have the same cover.
No interpreter for him.
No, so he is out of the game for life.
Woo! Let me see this real quick. June. Hold on. Has he not played since last year?
I don't know.
This says Padres.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's a member of the Padres, but not anymore. He's a member of nothing.
Chupacabra Marcano.
Chupacabra? Or is it Tucupita? Or Tusapita?
He hasn't played at all this year. This is a really easy guy to suspend for life.
Yeah, you don't have to worry about it.
Jonte Porter,
another
basketball,
easy guy.
It's easy to suspend him for life. The guy is not even playing this year. Tucupita Marcano. He was, I guess, okay. I don't know. He had 3 home runs, whatever. He's not even playing in baseball right now. Baseball's not going to miss him. Easy. Suspended for life. You make that guy the fall guy. You can't take away the golden goose that is Ohtani. You can't do it. There's two sets of justice are always. The rich people and the people who make you rich get one thing, and the poors who try to bet on themselves in DraftKings or who try to bet on baseball, who are kind of scrub baseball players, out of here. Very, very easy to suspend for life. And now you've got that precedent, though. But now you got that precedent, suspended for life. You better be sure. You think this is the last time we see a major sports figure? Well, we haven't really seen a major sport. Well, Ohtani. You think that's the last time we see a major sports figure that somehow – now, they didn't have any – I guess there was nothing that directly tied him other than a payment
his level,
to a bookie.
You mean by major? Like the level star?
In the general level.
Okay.
A star. When's the next time you think we see a star? Will there be a star caught up in something gambling related before June 1st, 2026?
Ooh, so
we did have
a little under 2 years.
We had a first-round wide receiver in Jameson Williams suspended.
Yeah, I think
we had Calvin Ridley suspended.
Yeah, I think yes, there will be.
For the year.
Ohtani is a superstar, so certainly that's a little tough. But I think we will have a player we all know and the name of, and we will be completely surprised by it, although we shouldn't be, when this person gets caught up in a gambling issue. I think it'll happen.
Will too.
Yeah, I think it'll happen in the next couple of years.
I think we will too. And here's the problem: you've suspended in both leagues. You've suspended for life now. The leagues, anything short of the leagues trying as best they can to cover up information so that they don't have to have that same level of punishment for star players, anything short of that, they will have to follow the lead that they set, where if somebody bets on baseball, somebody bets on basketball, will they get the same treatment as Jonte? Now, but Jonte Porter actually basically through, not the game, but through his own personal stats. It looks as though he intentionally pulled himself out of games with two different injuries.
He bet the under on himself
for $100,000.
Yeah, and took himself out with a questionable eye injury and then a stomach issue as well to hit the number. But he had to play in the game for the number for the bet to place. So he got out there, said, I'm feeling my stomach's bubbling, I gotta go, and then he didn't play the rest of the game. Then then the other time he made up an eye injury allegedly, and that's how they kind of found out, this guy's betting on himself and betting really the under on himself, and it cost him his NBA career.
That's manipulating a game.
Yeah.
That's shoeless Joe Jackson type stuff. Even Pete Rose didn't do that, and he's out for life.
And there are a couple other players mentioned in the story that did not bet on games they were involved in, like a minor leaguer placed bets on major league games. He's suspended for a year. A couple other guys got hit with those, but Marcano is the headliner, because of his betting on his own games. So he had to go.
Well, it won't be the first or the last. Is it DJ or OJ?
That's DJ.
DJ, what's up, DJ? How we doing?
Oh, man. I just wanted to see what y'all thoughts were on Xavier Worthy, how he was apparently he was throwing money on some girl in his bathroom.
Yes, I saw that. It was singles, right? It turned out he was just dropping singles on him.
It was dropping ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know what to say other than, sometimes you put the camera down. Sometimes you put the phone down. Not everything needs to be seen. Yeah. That's all. I mean, the Chiefs don't care. We know the Chiefs. I don't know if they value talent over everything, but this is chump change. Oh, there goes DJ. You just bring him down, Sam. Bring down the channel. The Chiefs don't care. This is light work for the Chiefs. All the way down. Yank them all the way down because we can still hear him. There you go. That's light work for the Chiefs. A guy just throwing money on this girl. Whatever.
That's nothing.
Nothing. We got Harrison. We got Rasheed Rice. It's nothing. We got Isaiah Buggs.
We got way bigger problems than a guy throwing singles on a girl that may be his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
In a video that I don't know if it was meant to be an ironic video where he was making fun, or if that was supposed to be a flex video, because it was a terribly cringy flex video.
It was.
If it was a very clever if it's a very clever,
spoof or something,
of a culture of money and strip clubs, or if it was satire, then sir, I applaud your satire. I thought it was brilliant.
Was that something that came up in the draft process? Xavier Worthy, the cultural commentator?
I'm going to check on my draft profile.
Did you write that down? Known for his NFL teams are concerned with his lack of complete focus on football because he likes to comment on the culture with skits and videos. Is that part of your draft profile?
Now, this is what I see. 4.21 40.
That's good.
I see a 41-inch vertical, almost an 11-foot broad jump. I see all that. So yeah, I don't think you stop reading there and you don't go any further than that. That's how.
So you didn't have to dive into.
You know who my NFL comparison was? Tank Dell. I don't like it though. It's not a good NFL comparison.
You just found a really.
Well, I think Tank gets open easily, and I think Xavier
he does too.
Worthy gets open easily, but when a guy runs 4.2, like I maybe could have put the John Ross on him, but then people freak out.
They don't want the bad ones.
They don't want that. But coming out.
John Ross was a first rounder.
John Ross was a first rounder with 4.2 speed.
Yes.
Like John Ross was, I don't think John Ross is I don't think it would have been a bad comparison, honestly, but we'll see. I've got my question. I kind of have my doubts that Xavier Worthy is going to end up being this mega player that everyone else thinks. However, once he went to the Chiefs, that's kind of like if you put him on the Bucks. That's one thing. You put him on the Chiefs, now all of a sudden, that's where you start, you really have to think about where a guy goes is a really big deal because I think, he went to probably the best possible place for him. So there's a pretty good chance Xavier Worthy could shine over there but he's got to stay healthy, and he is really, really thin. So we'll see if he can stay healthy. A couple of stories we did not get to that I want to get to right now. You have the University of Texas women's softball team made it to the finals in the Women's College World Series. That would be one story. You got the Stanley Cup is getting ready to kick off, so we will see the Oilers versus the Panthers is going to be the Stanley Cup finals that you guys may or may not watch.
That'll be Saturday in
Florida.
Florida.
Larry Allen died.
Yes.
Larry Allen died. You know what? Real quick, I want to, out of respect for Larry Allen, maybe the most powerful blocker in the world. Do you have the John Randall, Sam? Here, let me play a little bit of this. Larry Allen dead at 52. That's crazy.
I saw that age, and I forgot that.
I thought he was older than that.
I did too.
Let's hear from John Randall, one of the great defensive tackles of all time.
We can't hear it. No. I think it's playing, but it's not coming through.
No, maybe because you pulled that channel down?
No, that's the phone channel. It's a different channel altogether.
Let's try it again. Below average.
Yeah.
Look how I am. 9:45. We'll see if we can play a little bit of Larry Allen for you. Larry Allen is one of the strongest. He was known that I think he hit a 700 bench press once. Like maybe the most powerful. He is a human brick mailbox. He's a bank safe. And here is John Randall, undersized but Hall of Fame defensive tackle, talking about going up against him.
I still remember that. 692 pounds. When a man can bench press 692 pounds, that man can launch you. It's like going against a bear, man. I mean, he's just humongous. Man, he'll grab you, pick you up, and start laughing. And there's nothing you can do. It's like going against a car. You're trying to stop him, you're just sliding. I've seen him take linebackers, just drop him 20 yards. Not 5, not 10, 20 yards. And you go back in the huddle, that linebacker looking at you going, what am I supposed to do? Do the best you can. You got a guy like Larry Allen in front of you, he was like a wall. I mean, like a stump. You couldn't move it. He was very patient. And he never made a lot of mistakes. You weren't going to have guys just run up in there going, yeah, I'm going to bullet rush Larry Allen. You never hear anybody say that. Did you bullet rush him? Oh, that never came in my mind, bullet rushing Larry. No, you didn't bullet rush Larry.
No one teased the opposition better than John Randall did.
Hey, Charlie! Ray Brown! J.J. Stokes! You come to J.J. Walker?
But when he faced Larry Allen, Randall quickly learned to keep his chin strap tight and his mouth shut.
You didn't taunt him. You were nice to Larry. Give him a hand up, smile at him. Sometimes he smiles back, sometimes he doesn't, but don't get him mad.
In the pit,
All right,
only
we can
the
shut it down
strong
there. Larry Allen, despite being a Dallas Cowboy, one of the greatest offensive linemen ever.
And we do have a connection to the Astros involving this gambling scandal. One of Michael Kelly, who pitches for the A's, he used to pitch for the Astros affiliate in Sugarland. We know him as the Space Cowboys, once known as the Skeeters. He bet on Astros games while he was down in Sugarland.
He did?
He never played in those games, but while he was a Space Cowboy, or maybe a Skeeter at that point, 2021, he bet on Astros games.
Wow. Hope he got there.
So he's an A now, but he gets hit with the year suspension.
Hope he won. Do you need to talk about Compass or no?
Compass is not an actual live spot we have to talk about. It's something that she has to play.
Okay. We're coming back with News of the Weird. Happy birthday, buddy. My little pal. Aw. It's his birthday, Sam.
She knows.
Isn't that cute?
I can't hear you, and I don't think I can hear myself.
Happy birthday, Dell.
Deli Belly. Oh, so cute. No. Art said it somehow, and Art probably saw it from Des, who knows everything. one of our listeners who knows absolutely everything. Have you ever heard of Zachary Quinto? You know who that is?
Yeah, he was an actor on Heroes at one point. He was also Spock in the Star Trek movies, the new ones.
He likes to, I think he's a foodie too, because a Toronto restaurant called Manita slammed Zachary Quinto via Instagram stories on Saturday after the actor allegedly acted, quote, like an entitled child in their restaurant. The eatery called him an amazing Spock, but a terrible customer.
They included that?
Yes. He yelled at our staff after he didn't reply to 2 texts to inform him his table was ready, and refused to believe the empty tables in the dining room weren't available for him despite being politely informed they were spoken for. The American Horror Story alum, 47, also allegedly made a host cry and the rest of their brunch diners uncomfortable.
But at least they thought he did well as Spock.
Social media statement says, Mr. Quinto, take your bad vibes somewhere else. We have many lovely celebrities that join us at Manita, but you are not one of them. But you were a good Spock.
Thanks. Thanks for appreciating my work.
Miley Cyrus wants to feminize the workout space, and she is planning on wearing heels to the gym.
Wait.
I practice in my heels. The gym looks really rough, but then I've got my ivory Gucci slingbacks because they remind me of Marilyn Monroe. I train in heels mostly. I'm interested in feminizing the workout space because so much of the workout equipment is ugly.
Why does she train in heels?
I guess because she's going to be
performs on stage. That's what she trains in? But isn't a lot of the gym women, well, men too, but women in workout gear you might consider revealing?
Yeah.
So why does it?
At
Why
least
do we
the viral videos I see?
So why do we need to add heels to the equation? Is that functional for working out? Heels?
I mean, I don't know that I should speak on this necessarily, but I would say yes.
You think heels are functional?
Yeah. I would say so based on what I'm reading here, based on what the streets are saying.
Sam, you were an athlete, which meant you had to spend time working out to keep yourself in physical condition for your sport. Do you think wearing heels would have helped?
Helped me stay conditioned?
While you're working out, would that have helped? Because he thinks heels and working out is functional.
What if you're going on concert? What if you're going on a tour, a 50-city tour, and
you wear heels
you're
on
dancing
stage?
In heels? What about then?
Wait, what's your question? If they're functional?
But are you lifting in the heels, or are you dancing in the heels for practice?
We're going to lift in heels. Maybe not. Yeah,
No.
You know what? Leg presses too.
No, you don't leg press in heels.
We're going to leg press in heels. We're going to, what other training is she doing? Probably some light shoulder stuff in heels. What's it? You can still do that.
You want me to run in heels?
You want to get on a treadmill?
She said,
in
I
heels?
train in heels mostly. I'm interested in feminizing the workout space because so much of the workout equipment is ugly.
No.
Does any of that make sense to you?
No.
But you're also here on the board. Miley Cyrus is going on a 50-city tour.
You think
in
that's
my
the difference?
world.
You think that's she's not me. You don't have to attack her like you would attack me just because she's standing in there.
That's true.
It's
It's
because
not.
he's doing
this
average.
is not
Don't let
even
him bring
you,
you
Sam.
down.
Yeah,
I like you. It's just
you
I'm
just
used
see a
to
person in there.
battling. I'm used to battling across the glass.
You don't have to attack her.
That's true.
You can start back. You can start that.
Sam
up.
is really great.
You can start that up tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Don't worry.
We should gang up on you. A Florida man arrested for criminal mischief claims he's Mr. Monopoly, born on 4/20/1969. After being stuffed in a patrol car, an accused vandal told police his name was Mr. Monopoly.
I like that name.
And that he was born, of course, on 4/20/69. Investigators say 33-year-old Ryan Howard was arrested Saturday evening for spray painting a wall in St. Petersburg, Florida. When the officers confronted him, Howard had a bag slung over his shoulder containing spray paint cans that could be observed in plain view. Told that he was required to identify himself, after being detained, Howard stated Mr. Monopoly and provided a date of birth of 4/20.
Mr. Monopoly or King Butter, which is a better name?
Mr. Monopoly.
Well, you have a bias against King Butter, but I like King Butter too. But Mr. Monopoly, that's pretty good.
Is this? I don't know that. Yeah, I like it. Okay, I don't know that this is news of the weird. Drunken traveler gets 6 months in prison for attack on flight attendant who cut off his booze. Like that's not really news of the weird, is it? If you cut off somebody's booze, I could see one of those boozers some guy from Long Island attacked the flight attendant. I could send him into a blind rage. He was visibly drunk and they cut him off. I've seen that before. Apparently, he was offered a coffee and asked to return to a seat initially, only to stand up again and ask the same flight attendant for a drink and a cigarette. When the crew member told him he could not smoke or be served any more alcohol on the plane, Beavis, B-I-V-A, not Beavis, like Beavis, became angry and punched a refrigerator next to the flight attendant's head. Then he forcibly grabbed, pushed, and punched the flight attendant, bruising their arm and ripping their uniform.
Maybe he should have been cut off. You think, considering his reaction
I
to
think that's cut off.
being cut off?
What are some of the, like, if I told you, what are 5 cities where you are likely to get into some scraps? Like, it's going to be some disharmony. Give me 5 cities where there's going to be some disharmony.
Philly.
Okay.
I throw Miami into the mix, depending on what type of person you are. And
would you throw Portland, Oregon in there?
Well, there's a certain segment of people who go there just to start issues, so I throw Portland in there too.
What about Minneapolis?
Not so much, no.
Not now.
I wouldn't think so.
Not now. Well, actually, the 5 most laid-back cities in the country, Minneapolis 1, Madison, Wisconsin 2, Irvine, California 3, Boulder, Colorado 4, Portland, Oregon 5. I ain't putting Portland, Oregon in a laid-back city anymore. When you guys had things catching on fire for like 5 straight months, you don't make the most laid-back list.
We need a bit of a runway to get away from that time before you make that list again.
Yeah, you're not super laid back. I was there when I went to it and visited there when it really was laid back, and then when I broke up a homeless fight in 2014, I thought, hey, Portland's a little different than it was in 2011.
Why are you breaking up fights between the homeless?
Good person.
No, you're not.
And one guy fell out of his shoes. Apparently, one guy, what started this, one homeless guy told me, as the ultimate sign of disrespect, one guy walked over and put his trash in the other guy's trash bag that had his stuff in it. And he goes, he knew what he was doing. So he said, I can't let that stand. So it was
prison rules.
It was prison rules.
Okay.
It was homeless rules.
Okay.
You don't put your trash in another guy's trash bag.
That makes sense.
Period.
That makes sense.
So I was like,
you gotta
I get
fight.
it.
I wish the Fever had that type of attitude.
I do too. It'd be nice. Maybe no, I'm not gonna say it. 9:59. That's gonna do it for us. Sam, thanks for. I'm sorry. You know what? You've done a great job the last 2 days. Part of this initiation process is you just take. We did this to Mapes too. We do it to Dell also. So you did a great job. Don't follow her on Instagram, but just say thanks to Sam if you see her in the streets. Dell, thanks for doing an amazing job.
Where the hell is that gonna happen?
Back to the cubby hole tomorrow. Up next, Mike
Thank you,
Greenberg.
Dell. Thank you, Lance.
Appreciate you,
Y'all
Sam.
did amazing, except
Thank
for you,
you.
Lance. You did average.
Ooh, you deserve that. She called you average one more time.